program includes reviews and critiques of various products, movies, and works of art, and uses content for educational purposes. This program complies with YouTube's terms of service, including its fair use policy.
Are you enjoying what you see week after week? Consider giving us a like and subscribe. It's a small gesture, but it means a lot. Click the little button and give us a thumbs up. Follow our very talented panel. And for butter's sake, go to rosaliscomics.com and buy a friggin' comic already.
Let's talk about pop culture madness, memes and reboots, retro classic legends in their suits, Avatar, Star Wars, anime too. We'll talk about the sequels, what's coming through. Sunday come, we go live, telling everything you crave and why. We got cheer up all that you need. We got the pulse of the pop culture speed. Super Sunday wrap up Sunday. That's what we're talking about. The Super Sunday wrap up Sunday. That's what we're talking about. Super Sunday. Wrap up everything you know. Join the fun, break it down every single show with Super Sunday.
Oh yeah!
I've got one that can see.
Sunday, all the news never be the same.
What an intro that was. What an intro. And it is the end of daylight savings. Daylight savings is over, ladies and gentlemen. That means that you can go back to the regular scheduled timing, which is that some people are going to be. So, boom. So there we are. Yeah. A lot of stuff happened this week, but I thought maybe we would do something a little bit different. Let me see what we got rolling here. The Music Express. Okay, we'll stop that from going. I thought we would throw it out to everybody else out there and see what's happening. Hey yo, audio is whacked. Well, let's do an open topic Sunday this time around. What do you say? And we'll let the comments let us know what they want us to talk about this week. Start off November with a little bit of audience interaction. Yesterday, in wrestling news, was what was that? It was WWE's Saudi Arabia show, where they're coming out from not this time they weren't in the beautiful town of Jeddah, but they were from the capital of Saudi Arabia. Looks like madness to me. Probably is. So yeah, they did their Saudi Arabia show. And let's see here. Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan, they made history as becoming the first ever WWE Crown Jewel champions. So because they had champions versus champions, the two champions would fight other champions and wound up getting the bigger of the title belts handed to them by the Crown Prince himself of Saudi Arabia. So that was kind of interesting, I think, what they did out there. Roman Reigns and the Bloodline took on the New Bloodline and lost. And in the women's tag team championship bout, tag team champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeated Damage Control, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Jakar Jackson and Lash Legend. I believe that's their first main roster pay-per-view this time around. So good for them. Good for them. Let's let everybody know we are live. Look at that. It's Morning Network. It's okay. So Pops may be here later on in the for the show, so that's good. And we'll see what happens with there. Let's see if anybody else is awake. We are live. That Tom Hanks movie came out. With him and Robin Wright. So that was kind of fun and exciting. I don't know how well it did. I think it's called Here. So, any of you guys go out to the movies this weekend? Let me know in the comments, and we'll talk about that. My kids decided that this year they weren't going to do Halloween, and so we didn't do anything this year except sit around and watch movies. So, did we lose that? Here we go. There, that's nice and mellow. Let's see. Seth Rollins defeated Bronson Reed. And of course, Liv Morgan had a lot of help in beating Nia Jax. So they had more women at this Saudi Arabia show than they ever had before. Kevin Owens went after Randy Orton, and it ended in a no contest because the match never got started. And they took a lot of people out while they did it. So, United States champion LA Knight defeated Carmelo Hayes and Andrade in a triple threat match that saw him take down both of them at the same time. And Gunther did his best to maul Cody Rhodes and wound up in the losing end of that battle. So there's your catch up. There's your wrestling wrap up for the pay-per-view. Let's see. A year's worth of rain in Valencia in the past few days. It's a bright mess. Oh, rain in Valencia. It's the capital of Spain. So there's been a lot of rain. If I were to get you 10, that somebody called that global warming. Let's see what the Independent says about that. Let's see. Uh-oh. Let's see if I can share this with the screen here. Okay. Looks like Spain floods latest. Furious crowds chant murderer and toss mud at King Felipe in crisis. Wow. Whew. I guess the key points there were that nobody did anything to avoid it. Furious crowd shouts murderer. fears of many dead in submerged underground car park, and fresh weather warnings for rain and hail in Valencia. My goodness, that's terrible. Terrible news for Sunday morning in Spain. So everybody out there in Europe, in Spain specifically, please be careful. See if I can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. See, they yelled at him when he visited the most affected areas, or the most affected. Footage shows the moment the king was surrounded by angry locals who are still reeling as the death toll from the floods reaches 217 and is likely to continue climbing. Police officers on horseback had to keep back the crowd of several dozen. The king and his wife visited Valencia on Sunday with Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, and they met local officials, emergency responders, and civilians. It comes as fears grow that large numbers of bodies remain trapped underwater, including the entirely submerged underground car park of Bonaire Shopping Center, one of the largest in Spain. Good gosh. Specialist scuba divers are now searching for bodies in the car park. Eduardo Martinez, who works in the shopping center, told El Diario that some ignored advice from a security guard not to collect their cars from an underground car park when the flood began. Well, Bri, this is horrible news that I didn't know anything about, and we should pray for all those involved. So send some good thoughts their way. That's crazy. Weather can be bad. I don't know what to tell you about that. Well, we had a situation in Louisiana when a hurricane came through, and everything seemed to be fine, except that the infrastructure gave way. And Louisiana happens to sit below sea level, and they have these retaining walls that keep the ocean out. Well, as the hurricane passed Louisiana, the floodwaters raged down from the rest of the continental United States and into the river that was heading out towards the ocean, and that put a lot of pressure on the levee, and the levee broke away and then just flooded the city after the hurricane had already passed. And it's okay. Yes, it was mostly on the plain. And then it rained down, and then it's kind of kind of hard to see what happened there. But things can get bad if you don't prepare for what's going to happen, and you don't anticipate it. So hearts and prayers and thoughts go to Valencia. What else is happening out there? In Funland this Sunday morning. Who knows? Let's see, we did Crown Jewel. Did very little preparation for today's show. Let's see. Let me pull this up real quick here. The box office for the weekend as of November 3rd, which is today, Venom was ranking number one. Look at that. Friday's gross was 6 million. Look at that. So they did 6 million. Smile 2 grossed 1 million. Coming in third is that movie with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, where the camera's set up in the living room of the house, called Here. I don't know if you'd consider that a time traveling movie, but it covers a lot of time in that one location. Wild Robot sticking around at number 4 with 1,850,000. Conclave sticking in at number 5, and We Live in Time at number 6. Terrifier 3 closing in on the $1 million mark with 942,000. Bulbuya. Not sure that's how you pronounce that. Is that how you pronounce that, Gray?
I would assume so.
Bulbuya 3 is number 8, and Sing 'Em Again. Oh, that sounds like a play on words.
It does.
You know, like play it again, Sam, or sing 'em again. I don't know what that is.
I am not familiar with that movie or franchise, perhaps.
Did the daylight savings transition catch anybody off guard, you think?
Oh, it got me. I have no idea how, because I gained an hour, but somehow I'm like way more tired than I should be. So I apologize for my tardiness.
No need to apologize. I think I sent you the link like 5 minutes before you woke up. So.
Well, thank you for assuming that yeah, you're right. About 5 minutes before I woke up. Yes, you're correct. Still piecing things together. The coffee's working.
Here we go. Coffee is great on any given morning. So Beetlejuice is at number 10 now, and Absolution is at number 11, and Juror 12. Weren't there high hopes for Juror 12?
Well, it's a really good release, so it sucks. There has been anticipation since it's possibly Clint Eastwood's last film, but it really wasn't released to wide theaters, and then they didn't do a lot of like screenings on it, so it's been kind of up there. I was hoping it would do better than 12, but still, I guess for as little theaters that they were on, I don't know. I can't think that they were hoping for $90,000 opening weekend.
Well, they probably expected just a little bit more, but then again, Pops, what do you think? Are Clint Eastwood's fans just too old to get out of the nursing home, or?
Look, everything is streaming now. I'm surprised anytime a movie at the theater does any good, really, because I can't go there and smoke up and be me. I can do that at home. I got a big old screen now. It's like it's a difference.
Yeah. So,
popcorn. If they're not giving away comic books or something at the door, yeah, I probably ain't going.
I think they missed an opportunity by not coming out with a Juror number 2 popcorn bucket.
Yeah, you gotta have something to draw the fans. Maybe if they were selling, what's that dude's name? The other dude that does popcorn, not Orville, but doesn't Paul Newman or somebody like that do popcorn?
Yeah, Newman's Own popcorn.
Yeah, if they were selling Newman's popcorn there, they might have drew.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm having
movie and movie star popcorn. It sounds like a match made in Planet Hollywood.
I do want to throw in a little WWE. I watched it. I was actually pretty entertained the whole time.
Nice.
I mean, the last few have been kind of hit or miss. This one, it was pretty entertaining the whole show.
I was a little put off by the fact that Cody Rhodes and Walter Gunther, sorry, yes, That's his WWE name, Gunther. Uh, did a clinic on rest holds for like the first 15 minutes of the match. And
and I thought the match was too short because there wasn't enough action. There was too much of that. What you're talking about right there, you know.
Mhm.
And I was
And a
like,
lot
wow, they finally got down to wrestling, and then it was over.
yeah, it was just he got in a few chops, but not as many as you would expect. You know, Gunther when he gets into groove and he starts laying in those chops across the chest.
Yeah, yeah,
He gets into a match with somebody who can take it, and they wind up being bruised and bloodied across
yes,
the chest. And
yeah. The other part that I loved was that I mean don't love about Gunther's new game is that I'm gonna put everybody to sleep. You want to play that game? Go get in the cage, bro. Go get in the cage. Let's see you put some people to sleep. Let's see if you can really do that shit. If that's gonna be your finisher,
well, they like to give them something a little bit extra that they don't come to the table with, and so they give them a new gimmick to which would make them seem. Usually, they give that to somebody smaller, you know,
well, I
like
mean, he's big enough that he can wrap somebody up and do that. But that how boring is that?
yeah. I mean, they gave that finisher to Anna Jay, and they call it the Queen Slayer, where she just chokes them right out.
Yeah,
And she's a tiny person who came into it as a Green Hornet, if you will.
right.
Her experience in wrestling is AEW. That's it. She came in out of nowhere, along with Julia Hart,
I
some of the
like her.
others.
I like
And
Andy.
I don't know if there was cheerleading involved previously with what she was doing, but without all that experience, you can't really give them a solid quality finisher. And so they gave her a chokehold, the sleeper, and Gunther having the same move as a female wrestler as a finisher. I don't know if
Right.
that works for him.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not impressed. That's too boring. He's big. He should be able to do a whole bunch of stuff to entertain me rather than just lay around the mat with his balls to somebody's butt. Come on.
He's in that awkward middle ground that nobody ever talks about. There's a size where you can do the high flying stuff, and then there's the regular wrestler who can do everything from high flying to graps and holds and things like that. Gunther's right above that, okay, but he's not quite the monster, okay. You reach a certain level, then they give you the stiff boots and the leg drops and the big giant holds, like things that anywhere from the Big Show to Andre the Giant that those guys did, okay. Those are the big men, and he's right in between those heights. And so, what do you give him? Do you give him the big boot? That
Well, he already does that. That's what I mean. When he's doing moves, he's entertaining. But this lay down on the mat and try and choke somebody out thing, just like that's boring, guys. There's nothing to. That's like watching it. Have you ever watched an MMA fight where both guys that was their gig? Neither one of them were good strikers. Neither one of them were that good at anything other than choking the other guy out. And it looks stupid watching them roll around on the ground that way.
It's like they always go for the legs. Always go for the legs and try to get him down so that they get him in the leg game. Or there's the one guy who stays on his back, trying to land that up kick, and he's just scooting around and won't get up.
That's what I mean. It's like wrestling not supposed to be boring. It's supposed to be entertaining.
Yes.
Like like you said, the beginning of the match was lame, and really Gunther's end game now is lame. So come on, man. I mean, he can whack mother. He can pop. Look, he could be doing the tombstone. He could be doing something real to end the match, not just I'm gonna wrap this guy up, man. Boring.
So
I was really entertained by the whole show. I mean, was a good show.
Did you happen to see it, Gray?
Yeah.
I did not. I'm just living vicariously through Pop's explanation of it. It doesn't sound as impressive as I was picturing for a match before royalty, but fair enough.
Yeah, that match itself, but I mean, the show overall was pretty entertaining. The women's title match was good. Of course, we knew there was going to be interference. The bloodline match was good. We knew there was going to be, that Tonga Loa was going to get involved. I didn't see Sami Zayn coming out. Okay. I didn't see anybody coming out for the bloodline, to tell you the truth. I just thought it was going to be those three against those four. And that was kind of weird that Sami came out. Just stood there in the middle of the ring.
Well, Sammy's got a little bit of history with the bloodline.
Yeah.
He's really, really over in Saudi Arabia. His family comes from that area of the world, and so he's got history, if you will. So he's kind of like, I don't know if you remember the first six. There was a guy named Noam Dar, who you never saw wrestle in the United States, but he was one of the wrestlers. But he would always come out at a Saudi Arabia show and beat somebody, Noam Dar. And he was really over because he was considered basically a local. And now that's how they're looking at Sami Zayn when it comes to the Saudi shows.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Big giant pop when he came out, and when he when he did not really embrace the new bloodline and joined the OG bloodline. That's why he got such a huge pop as well.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, he was part of the OG bloodline back in the day. Was it a Survivor Series or something when they were all in that cage match?
yes,
Yeah, he was, he was with them then. And he's friends with Jay.
mm-hmm.
I mean, so I just didn't see it happening. I thought they were just going to, settle it. And really, if you want to be down to it, the only way to settle who the tribal chief is to put those two in a cage with no interference and let Solo and Roman do the thing. And whoever wins is the leader of the bloodline, period. That's the only way that's ever going to end,
Well, they do have Survivor Series War Games coming up as a pay-per-view. So
Right.
we will probably see the bloodlines versus each other in a War Games match. So
But that's 5. Who would be the 5th? You get The Rock? Which side does he come down on?
I don't know. That's a big question if he joins in on that. So.
And then there's that other youngster from the Fatu family. Who is he? Is he in AEW or ROH?
You talking about Zilla?
Yeah.
The one that went to prison for a few years?
Yeah, that guy.
Umaga's wayward son.
You see, there's possibilities when you talk about that 5th guy.
Yeah, that's true. Gray, we're doing a little bit something different this week. We're doing an open topic Sunday. You got anything in particular you want to highlight?
No. Sorry, I've been kind of out of it the last couple days.
Yeah, but there's got to be something that you're excited about, something you're maybe looking forward to. Like maybe the return of fruitcake.
I'm a fan of fruitcake. I understand it gets a bad rap, but man, that dense candied loaf. What can I say? I do enjoy it, but I understand I'm in the minority there. I don't know, man. I haven't really paid attention to the news. I've kind of been caught up in my own world, if you will. I've been doing this weird it's called 75 hard, where you got to do like 7 different things per day for 75 days. It's like a mental challenge. Anyway, I've got 6 days left, so that's kind of all I've been focusing on. I've been
good for you. Good for
Being
you.
on the show is a mental challenge. Come on.
it is. You have no idea how comforting my bed was and how hard it was for me to leave it this morning. But I'm here.
Well, you know what? If we can get anybody out of bed on a Sunday morning, that's fantastic. Speaking of mobilizing people, I checked the numbers on the YouTube, and we have finally reached 400.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So we got 400 followers now on the YouTube channel for Rosales Comics, and
Oh yeah. Congrats, sir.
thank you.
Deserved.
Normally I would have the background thing up, but I know you're about to ask me the same thing you asked him, right?
Yeah.
And I think you're going to bring more to this conversation. So thank you, Pops.
Oh, I got some stuff that came in the mail
Oh,
that I'd like to show off.
well, let's do this then. Let me see if I can figure out the best way to highlight you.
There you go. That'll work. We got Blood World Phoenix Throne by David Howard and Jeff Bracey's cover. Nice stuff. Now, these guys, we launched their book in the Madness and, did all that over there. This one was a gift. Came in a package yesterday from Mike Barron. We've got, you got me backwards. You got to flip me over, bro.
Oh, I don't know how to flip you.
You got to flip me over, bro.
I think you've
It's
got to
good.
do that on your own camera.
It's good, Ying. I don't know. Settings.
Camera?
I got video. It doesn't say anything about flipping.
Mirror the image?
No. Does not say anything about flipping. Just the camera and the resolution.
Kind of hidden down there. So do you see the, like,
maybe.
you did it.
Maybe.
You got it.
There you go.
Hell
Good
yeah.
game. From the Rippaverse, Mike Barron, Will Conrad. Yeah.
Wow. This is the first appearance of the Rippaverse on our channel.
I don't order them, dude. They're outside my price range. I'm just saying.
But that was a gift, you say?
But yeah, Mike sent it to me, and I love Mike. Mike and I are friends, and he supports what we do. We support what he does. And from Critical Blast Publishing, from R.J. Carter, this was a gift for the kids.
Cool.
A night before Christmas.
Let's see what they did
Critical
there.
Blast Publishing, yo. It's one of our
Oh yeah.
can I tell you? But yeah, good stuff, man. Christmas story. Got a new Christmas story to read to the kids. Yeah. You know how it is. You know. Okay,
Nice,
you can make me
nice.
unbig now.
There you go.
Yeah, it's nice. Sometimes sometimes things just appear in the mail, but then when they do, we have to make sure that we show them off everywhere that we go so that we do our part
Marketing.
in the promotional scheme of things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Somebody told me once a long, long time ago, or not told me, but told the world that Pops only do this. He's a bottom feeder who only does this for free books. It's been 5 years. I paid for a lot of books. I paid for a lot of them. Yeah, I get freebies. I love it. I love the people that send me books for free, but I paid for a lot of them too, guys. I mean, some of them I want. That guy didn't feel generous and just send me one, It's like, but I've never asked anybody for a book ever.
What are you reading out there in the comment land? Let us know what you're reading, and we'll see if we can talk about that a little bit, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what's coming out this week, so let us know what you're anticipating.
Jeez, I don't know.
Peace on Earth. Yeah, there's something happening on Tuesday. I think it's a little something
Is there?
happening. I think it's not quite a national holiday. Some people got to work, but
Nobody should have to work when the lines are this long.
yeah. That's why if you're gonna vote, try Monday. Tuesday's going to be a little backed up. Oh, wait. This was the last weekend for early voting, wasn't it? Now you have to wait until Tuesday.
I was gonna say, I don't know if they're doing Monday voting where I'm at, but maybe.
It's over. I think
It's over. I did my part, so the next chance you get to undo my damage is going to be Tuesday.
Did you see the pinned Did you see the pinned comment on my Twitter page?
Have not seen it.
You need to check that out because it was pretty interesting.
Let me see if I can find you real quick on the Twitter. Madness. There you go. Oh, look at that. How nice we follow each other.
We do.
News to me.
Oh, you say, wow, just do what the man says.
Now click on that one.
And it's, ooh. It's from one of the people that is involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably computer generated, but I don't know anybody else that got tagged by Trump. What can I tell you? The real Donald Trump. All 92 million followers, Donald Trump tagged me in a post. I like it.
Let's see. I'm bringing it up right now.
And it's not one of them multiple tags where he tagged 80 fucking people, right? It's me. It's
Just
probably computer generated, but I don't know about anybody else that got one, so I'm freaking proud of that.
Look at that. Pops was tagged by a major candidate, and now you've made the FBI list.
Yes. Well, I was already on that. Count on it. Shit. You know, the last time I tried to get on a plane, I had one of those old Phoenix IDs, the Arizona driver's license. The one that they gave me back in the day was good for 25 years.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have barcode on it or nothing. We're talking about back in the 90s, right? I got this ID. And I went to get on a plane with it. And they had to get out the book, the big book, and try to find that ID in the book. And then they had to call a supervisor. And then somebody else come up and goes, yeah, that's legit. Let him on plane. Yeah. I've had interesting. Yeah, I'm on a no-fly list. You know it by now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a plane since. Look at that.
I was going to say it's been a fun fight. You know.
My camera's doing that thing again where it just kind of locks in on one
Ooh,
picture.
somebody screenshot that.
Trail
That
cam
great,
thing.
that is a great expression. Somebody get me a screenshot of that, please. Not that one, the last one. I have a collection of those, Dan. I want you to know that.
Oh, wow.
I have a collection. I ask people to do that all the time when screens freeze. I have a little file of people frozen on camera. Yes,
that's awesome. Back in the day, the images used to only update the parts that moved to make it easier,
right,
on the computers. And I think this might be something like that, where it's only updating when there's a major movement on the screen. So if I sit here still enough, I look like a ventriloquist.
So you're saying your camera harkens back to the days of animation. That's awesome.
Yes. I'm at 0 frames per second right now.
Wow.
Well, I gotta say, you still look lifelike though. So that's awesome.
Oh, a little belly jiggle triggered it right there. That's what that was. A nice little bit of a minor guffaw, if you will. So, yeah, there's that, man. So, usually on Friday nights, we kind of cover whatever topic comes to mind, and we follow the conversation as it goes. And yeah, it doesn't seem like that format works on Sunday mornings.
Well, I'm definitely more awake on Friday nights usually, so I'm not bringing my A game. I apologize, Resolve.
Well, daylight saving. Oh, that's a good one. Look at that. That's me right in the middle of the well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Maybe I'm smoking a cigarette or blowing a kiss.
Yeah, I think the wife's coming close. You're getting in there.
Yeah. She went to church, so.
See, that could be part of the problem too.
Yeah. Oh, that she went and I didn't?
No, that half your viewers might still be there. You see. Unless you don't think you have church-going viewers, I don't know.
There's probably some, but the Venn diagram might not line up completely.
Not quite. I don't think.
Oh man, you want to hear something else super freaking cool?
Absolutely.
John Cena sent me a friend request, or followed me on.
Wait,
Twitter.
You can see it?
He followed me on Twitter, and I did not at the time follow him.
The real John Cena?
Yes, the 12 million followers, John Cena.
Well, there you go.
I was blown away by that because I wasn't following it. I only follow a couple guys, right? Sergeant Slaughter, only a couple of them. And he sent me a friend request. My grandson is a huge John Cena fan. So I'm showing it to him, and he's like, no way. And I'm showing it to him. He can see I wasn't following him. And he's like, how come you don't follow him, Grandpa? I said, all right, I'll follow John Cena. So I clicked the follow button on him. But yeah, I was blown away by that too. It's been a weird week, dude. It's been a weird week.
Most of us follow wrestling, but wrestling follows you.
It's
Most
weird.
follow politics, but politics follows you.
Well, I do follow politics. I am a Trump fan. I ain't gonna lie. Ain't no reason to lie about what you do. You know.
Well, if you listen to the pollsters out there, your odds are good. But you never know what's going to happen overnight.
I just look where the money goes.
Somebody asked me who I thought was going to win, and I said Trump's going to win Tuesday, and Kamala's going to win Wednesday.
Well, that's kind of how it worked last time. I have a feeling, though, that they're just not going to be able to pull enough fake ballots out to pull this one off.
You never know.
I mean, at some point, there's more ballots than there are votes than there are voters. And then somebody's screwing the pooch, right? If they go over that threshold, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And I don't know if there's enough registered voters to put them over that threshold this time. I just don't know.
There was a senator who was saying that they were going to negate the votes.
Oh, yeah. Raskin said that months ago. He said he didn't care. He said he didn't care. He was going to shut it down anyway. They weren't going to certify the election if Trump wins. Then why bother? Why have an election if you motherfuckers already decided who you're going to put in there, no matter what the vote is? Okay. See, that's saying we fixed it.
Yes.
That's saying flat out we fixed it. I don't care what your vote is. We're not going to certify it. You remember what happened last time?
But that's what Trump was trying to do when he was making those phone calls at the last minute. He was trying to not have the election certified as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that both sides have called for. It seems like now,
Mm-hmm.
and when it actually happens, I think that will be one of the last dominoes to tip over.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for almost a decade now, and I sound like one of these doomsday guys. But as a country, we had a good run.
Yeah, we had a good run, and we can still fix it. We just have to want to.
That's like fixing an eggshell. That's what
so you only got to cut the head off a couple of times, and nobody else wants to be the head.
Yeah, who knows? Let's move off of this. This is almost as depressing as the flood in Spain.
I was having fun. What are you talking about? I don't get to talk about this shit on my shows.
Yeah, we don't normally talk about it here.
I know.
But
it's kind of hard to avoid this weekend.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it might be showing up and kind of everywhere this week.
Yeah.
There is something special happening in just about 48 hours or so. Or I guess it's more like 7.
You got jams.
Jams. This is called Jimmy and the Kaiju. We shared a video, I think, a couple of weeks ago. It's basically a music video of Godzilla movies.
Okay, cool.
And it tells the story of Jimmy flying from New York to Tokyo right when Godzilla emerges. And it's telling him to run back to where he came from in a sort of 1960s kind of feel.
Did you guys happen to catch our launch party for, or not launch party, but the concert? The concert from the comic store?
No, you're not.
A band, Ear Goggle. They have a book and an album, or LP, of something called Box of Tales. It is a rock opera and a graphic novel. And they performed some of the songs the other night live on the network. It was cool as hell, dude. And they were in the back room at a comic shop, right? In the game room of a comic shop called At World's End in Kingston, New York. And they performed live from a comic. I think it's the first time ever a band performed live from a comic store, dude. I'm just saying, it was cool, and it was on our network. Yeah, it's
really awesome.
It's been fun.
How do you adapt a rock opera to a graphic novel?
Go look up Rush 2112 on YouTube. There is a graphic novel of Rush 2112, and they overlay the music from the whole side of the album to the graphic novel, and you can watch them turn the pages of the graphic novel right along with the lyrics of the story of 2112. Anybody knows 2112 really cool. It's actual story. It's not like one song, right? It's a whole album side story, 6-7 different songs. But there is a graphic novel of it.
Yeah, I know Coheed and Cambria took a lot of kind of inspiration from them as well, from 2112, and they did a couple of comic-themed albums as well, which had like the dual launch thing. I don't think they had it where it was like literally turning the pages as you're doing it. That sounds awesome. I got to check that out. But,
yeah, it's super sweet, dude. I was digging it when I first found it. I was like, what the hell? Because I'm a big Rush fan, right? So I'm a big comic fan. Right? And when I found that on YouTube, I was like, oh, this is badass. And it is.
Well, I don't think that's something I can share here on the show then.
Well, probably not, but you can share the link.
I mean, you can share the knowledge. You can inspire others to search it.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, if they're interested in it, I'm just telling you, you could go check it out.
Go check it out if you can find it, and it's available apparently on YouTube, and it's awesome sounding. So have a look. Let us know what you thought.
Did you actually find the graphic novel thing, or did you?
I don't know if it's the graphic novel.
Are they showing panels of a comic book as this song?
I haven't clicked through it because,
there's probably a million Rush 2112s on YouTube. You're going to have to find the one that actually has the graphic novel part of it.
Yeah. There's a American Dad version. So
there's an American Dad version.
Don't think that's the one.
That's not the one, no.
It might be the one for some. I'm glad that Rush is getting some recognition, even through American Dad.
Dude, that's kind of funny. Well, I mean, they've been in everything. They've been in Marvel Comics, all kinds of shit. They were in, I want to say, Defenders 45. They used Rush lyrics in one of Doctor Strange's spells.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Lyrics from the song Twilight Zone on 2112, as a matter of fact. Yes.
That's awesome. I thought like there was going to be some actual appearance of like Geddy Lee and Alex Lifes and like all those guys in Marvel Comics. I was going to say, really, how did I miss that? But it makes sense if they're using the lyrics.
But I do have a Rush comic book. I think Dynamite might have made those. All the rock and roll.
Yeah.
Comics.
I remember those from back when, but I never actually was able to complete that whole run. I definitely want to look back into those. You've inspired me, Pops. I got to go check out my Rush comics.
Yeah, it's awesome. I used to have a whole bunch of really cool Rush stuff. A bunch of stuff got ripped off, though. Back when Hemispheres first came out, I think it was in Toronto or Montreal, one of the two cities, at a record store. They were the first releases, the first 1,000 LPs, right? And they gave them away with a pendant, a Rush pendant. And I had one of those pendants. Got stolen. They didn't even know what they were stealing. They just stole a box of shit. And there was some really good shit in there. And they probably had no idea what it was and probably went to a pawn shop, gave it away for nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. If you're going to steal something, know what you're stealing, people.
It would be nice.
You know, I think it is actually the birthday of Godzilla.
Well,
70th birthday to the big guy.
He very well could be.
Birthday there, buddy.
Yeah. Man, had I known that was coming up, we could have planned something. But I did not know. Did you know? I did not know.
I did not know that you did not know, but I did not know either. So I don't know how I would know. You know,
I don't know how you would know that I did not know, but nobody knew that I did not know, and I should have known. But you know what? For the sake of celebrating, why don't we go ahead and just watch that Jimmy and the Kaiju? At least a few minutes of it.
oh yeah, it's an awesome song. I
Jimmy
didn't know that
was
there
the
were.
guy who flew in from.
What's that now?
I was gonna say it's an awesome song. I've been enjoying the instrumental version of it, but man, I'm looking forward to the visuals.
Yes, AI actually with the music. So, way to go,
Thank you, robot overlords.
Udio or Suno or whichever one it was. We thank you, robot overlords.
Jimmy was the guy who flew in from New York. He was looking for some fun. He landed in Tokyo, neon lights that blow till the sirens started to run. Run back! Run back! Run back to where you once belong. Run back! Run back to where you once belong. Run back, Jimmy. Susan saw the beast as it towered over streets, and she thought she had to hide.
So, happy birthday to Godzilla.
Indeed. Gotta be honest, I'm really impressed with the visuals here. It's better than some of the original Godzillas I've seen. I understand there's other clips spliced in, but man, not the worst Godzilla ever.
Yeah, these come from several of the movies from several generations of Godzillas. They have different eras of Godzilla, and I'm not exactly too sure what they're named. Like this particular Godzilla is apparently one of the remakes or the restartings of it, where the souls of the dead from Hiroshima take over the body of Godzilla and have him rampage across the city for some reason. That poor girl thought she was safe because Godzilla walked past and then he whacked her with the tail.
Run back to where you once belong. Run back.
She's probably safe too. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was from the latest Godzilla movie. I want to say Shin, but that's not correct. No, Godzilla -1. That's
I was gonna say, you're not talking about the monkey glove one. I think it's the other one.
The Godzilla -1 was the non-suit wearing one, I think, or at least one of them, where they didn't have the suit. It was
Yes.
all suit.
Yeah, kind of return to form as opposed to the, power gloved Godzilla.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Excuse me. It was the monkey that had the glove. My bad.
Oh, look at that. I've been thinking of getting the Moon Knight omnibus. Looks good. I have volume 1, and the artwork is great.
I always thought the artwork was kind of amazing in those books. I really should have gone into that a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen the Moon Knight omnibus. It's been a while since I've been in a comic book shop. So, do you know anything about the Moon Knight omnibus, there, Pops?
Actually distracted for a moment. I'm getting messages from network people about stuff, so kind of missed that.
Oh, okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah. I have other reasons for missing the Moon Knight omnibus, but network messages is a good one, I think.
You weren't waiting at the omnibus stop? Yeah, I don't know. I kind of dig Moon Knight. I was hoping for a little bit more out of that show, especially when they had like Oscar Isaacs in there. The potential was there, but it was a little bit of a letdown. But I've just loved the artwork in that series so much. So I support it, Bri. I also might need to get my hands on that.
Speaking of expecting a little bit more, the WandaVision, not WandaVision. Yeah, it's actually they called it the second installment of the WandaVision trilogy.
The spiritual successor.
Agatha All Along finally gave its final season finale.
Yeah. So I might be kind of the minority who actually watched the thing. I really dug what they were doing there. It seemed to be a consistent quality the whole time. I understand if you're looking for cape stuff, it's not that. It's kind of the other side of Marvel, the less popular kind of magic and witchy side. But man, I really dug what they were doing with the initial kind of episode and that whole like Mayor of Easttown type of, I guess you'd say like parody of that show. But man, they really nailed that whole tone and the execution of it. And then just those first couple episodes, every episode kind of references them and kind of keeps coming back. They really ended up doing that well. The whole like recontextualization of what you'd previously seen. There's been a few different shows, even a few released by Disney that tried the same thing and failed really hard. But yeah, I really kind of dug this. We talked about it, I think it was last week, where they did a reveal that death is now a part of the MCU, which really sucks that they didn't decide to do that with Thanos before. But yeah, it does kind of change things a bit. But yeah, I really liked the 2-part series finale. So there is episode 8 and 9 that both aired this week. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I gotta say, if you're into not the cape side of Marvel, this one's pretty awesome. And from what I understand, there's a lot of people who haven't watched a bunch of the recent stuff, and they were a bit intimidated because they thought they would have missed something. With this, you really don't need to know a lot of things. So the barrier for entry is down quite a bit. So I've been hearing from a lot of normies that they've been enjoying it, based off of just Catherine Hahn and liking her, acting skills.
Didn't Billy wind up with a cape?
He did. So he did, but much like, Strange. I don't know if I would call either of those like cape stuff, but yes, he does have a very prominent red cloak cape, and he's got that. But I just mean he's not, flying around and punching things. It's waving your hand with these weird symbols by them.
Yes, well, I just wanted to point out that he did have a cape.
You're right. So, it's shorthand, but you're right. Capes were involved.
It's maybe if you are into cape stuff, you might find it a little more appetizing than you previously thought. So, there's let's reach across the aisle while we're at it.
I do got some breaking news.
Ooh, breaking news.
It's a meme. I don't know if it's breaking news or not, but I heard that Elon is offering to buy the FBI from the Clintons.
You could probably get a pretty good price on it.
Come on, guys. That's funny. Laugh.
But Rosales, as one who hasn't been watching, I don't think you've seen WandaVision, and you haven't been watching Agatha. Have you heard like a bunch of criticism towards it or anything like that? Kind of the only thing that I heard is that it wasn't as big a event or whatever as was anticipated. It just kind of fizzled as far as the news going about the show ending. But
The criticism that I heard about the show, now I didn't watch that. I did watch all of WandaVision, but I did not
oh,
watch
my bad.
Agatha. I did watch the first episode, maybe the second, and that was kind of it for me. But what I heard about the criticism of the last couple of episodes is that there was kind of a little bit of an exposition dump in the final episode. Part one was more of a emotional wrap up of the characters, and then the second part of the final episode was more of the exposition, tying everything together and saying this was all this and this was why that happened and this and that. And it's kind of seemed to me like if it wasn't there in the first few episodes, it's kind of cheating. You see, the
So the
Agatha.
thing is, it was there in the first couple of episodes. So I think they're kind of right with some of that criticism. And I'm so sorry for cutting you off. You were saying if it wasn't there in the beginning, and then I just was an ass and steamrolled over you. Could you please continue?
The like the what was that show? There was a show on television. It was kind of like a murder mystery. Murder She Wrote. That's the one.
Oh,
And
that one.
they give you this murder mystery where you have to try to figure it out along with the person. That's kind of the fun of it. Is like you see the clues and then you figure it out before the protagonist does. Except that at the very end of the episode, you always had the detective bring up something that we had no access to. So it was when I found this secret note that I didn't tell everybody about where they confessed to the murder that I
Can I
realized
ask you
it
one
was
more
the
thing?
murder. Yeah. So
Falk was
and
the best at that, though.
if the criticisms were correct, then and I again I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Then a lot of the stuff where they say, well, you know what, it was all in Billy's mind, and there's no clues to it being in Billy's mind. Um, they kind of put these things into it, like their return back to Billy's room, where you can see all of the stuff happened in Billy's room and where he got the inspirations from. But if you didn't see that in episodes 1 and episode 2, which I didn't when I saw those, then
Ooh.
Billy showing up out
So
of
that's
nowhere.
So I would say I disagree with two of those criticisms, and again I understand it's not coming from you. So I didn't see it as like a ton of exposition. It's kind of that recontextualization thing, but it's not done with just like I don't know. When I hear exposition, I'm hearing tell, don't show. But they really did show the room, and they so in the first couple episodes where you kind of get to know this new I can't remember if they called him Willie, whatever they called him in the
They called him
beginning.
Teen. They called him Teen in the beginning.
They kind of show his room, and they initially showed it before Billy kind of entered his body, and then after Billy entered his body, and it just had so many just Easter eggs the whole way through his room, including even like the color of all these leaves they come up and they play a rather large role. I didn't see it as they just didn't give you any of the foreshadowing. Like it's there. They've shown the Wizard of Oz thing, and then every reference that they've kind of been hitting, he's got a poster of or some sort of
I don't
decor in his
remember
room.
seeing the room. I remember him being arrested in the first
It
episode.
might have been episode 3 because it's when you get kind of more of the backstory of him. Now I'm kind of blanking if that was episode 2 or 3, but I kind of think that's 3.
In episode 2, didn't they start down the witch's road? So
I think so, but they do a little bit of kind of
It had to
time
have been
jump, like
deeper
back
in.
and forth.
it had to have been deeper in where they started putting that stuff in, because it was not at the very beginning. It's kind of Schrodinger's gun. If you show the gun in the beginning, you have to use it at the end. And if they're adding it somewhere in the middle or at the end of it, they haven't laid the groundwork correctly for you to be able to anticipate what's coming. And you lose kind of the enjoyment in that. So
I gotta say, as one that actually watched all of them, I didn't find that an issue, and it didn't make me not lose the enjoyment. It was there, and every single episode has had a ton of different references to exactly what's going on with this. A ton of it is kind of Wizard of Oz themed, and that was like heavy in his room. I think there was an adequate amount of foreshadowing, and then what they showed you with that first episode, how it's not what's going on inside of Agatha's head. Instead, we get a recontextualization of everything that happened and what those events actually were. I think it kind of cues you to look at some of these background ideas, because with that one, it kind of shows you how these same scenes are playing out, but they're in a much different location. I think that is foreshadowing to what's actually happening at the end. But
don't get the idea from the way that it's presented that Catherine Hahn knows that there's no Witch's Road in the very beginning.
Kind of. So
she seems disappointed that the door doesn't open right away.
So I saw that as she's jumping on it right away, that you call yourself witches, and then she's trying to start the fight, because her whole thing is kind of stealing power. So if you call them all failures and then blame them, that fight kind of starts pretty quickly. But it did seem like she jumped the gun and said like, it didn't work. Hey, there's a door there. To me, it worked out, and I didn't put a ton of notice on that, but when they kind of show you the recontextualization of that, it's like, oh yeah, that does make sense. They did foreshadow that.
It's like retconning in the program itself. Like, we've established this and this and this and this, and then they retcon it at the end of it so that the ending makes sense. It's the same
but
sort
it's not
of speed
retcon. Like,
if
it was there. You just are. But they didn't change anything. Like, it's not like he wasn't originally the father, and now we're telling you like he's the father. Like, that's kind of a retcon. This was, you didn't know why she was reacting the way that she reacted, but it just explains it further. So I wouldn't say it's a retcon. I'd say it's a recontextualization. But
retcon. I will.
I know. But with what she's doing, it's just a recontextualization of what her reaction meant. It's not, they're changing it completely. To me, it's, so that's why she kind of got upset and jumped the gun on that one.
I kind of, I'm going to have to say we're going to have to disagree on that and take different positions on that and still be friends.
I disagree. If you don't agree with me right now, this friendship, no, I'm just kidding. We're good now.
That would have been awesome if you just like held to that and then just came back next week. That would have been fantastic. Would have been
but to each their own. Everything is subjective, but I don't hear a lot of criticism towards like, this is poorly written. This is the worst thing ever. This is going to be the death of Marvel. It actually kind of got me excited for Young Avengers for the first time. I didn't really like this Wiccan character that much from like the Young Avengers comics, but man, I've kind of dug this portrayal of it and what they're going to end up doing with this. I think Wanda is going to factor in quite heavily in where they're going with the MCU. So I'm pretty excited for what's going down.
Well, I'm just pleased to know that they planned a trilogy out of it. We didn't know that going into it, that there was a plan when they did WandaVision.
Well, it always kind of was, because they've announced Vision Quest for a while.
Yes.
What do they keep calling him? White Mayo? Mayo Vision?
Mayo Vision. They did announce that, and we assumed that part was the second part, and then all of a sudden they throw something in the middle of it, which was the Agatha all along. So it still seems disjointed, but I'm glad they're doing something, that they've got a plan. Because again, the whole thing to me reeks of not having a plan. And it also, to me, it seems a whole lot like a first draft. If in your first draft, you have the idea of where you want to be, you don't know how you're going to get there, but you also have these unanswered questions of how you do a certain thing and how you get to that point. And again, we disagree on how well they put that all together and answer those questions. I think they could have taken a little more time, a little more effort in making sure that it was very well established. For you, it was established enough that it wraps itself up really nicely in a tight little bow, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't want to take your enjoyment away from it. I don't want to take anybody's enjoyment away from it. I would like somebody to enjoy something on TV Plus.
So it is wrapped up, but it's like wrapped up into saying like, okay, now we need to go on this next mission. We need to find Tommy. So I mean, this part of it, like the Witch's Road part, is wrapped up, but it really is kind of the continuation of it. But it kind of makes sense why they haven't gotten rid of like the Riri Williams show that's Ironheart or whatever that's been in the can for what, like 3 years or something like that now, that they've just been holding on to. If they are going with this kind of Young Avengers thing, which it looks like everything is moving to it, you know, they've got Wiccan in place now, and he appears to be as powerful as Wanda. You know, it seems like he might be the leader of this new team. And then it sounds like they're going to be looking for Tommy next, but we already set up that like Kate Bishop and I can't remember Ant-Man's daughter's name, and then the other one. So I believe it will be all of them coming together for this Young Avengers that perhaps is going to take place on Battle World. And, you know, I'm assuming the real Avengers fails somehow, and we need to have this new initiative. So we'll see.
Well, they got old, and you know, it's because the actors get old, and nobody wants to recast anybody. Otherwise, we would have an infinite number of regular Avengers, and we wouldn't need to replace them with a. And there are plenty of replacements in the comic books. You know, East Coast Avengers, West Coast Avengers. I don't know if they've done Gulf Coast Avengers, but it's a possibility.
Not yet.
But you know, there's plenty out there for them to pull from.
You weren't being mean to the West Coast Avengers, were you?
Me?
That's the Hollywood crew. You know, Tigra, Hawkeye, you know what I mean? War Machine. It was the Hollywood crew. It was, you know.
It's U.S. Agent.
You can't get away from it. There's a Hollywood crew and everything. You know.
Yes. Well, they got Wonder Man on his way, and so he's Hollywood.
Yeah, he was one of them.
That one.
See, he was West Coast Avenger too.
I can't tell exactly what they're doing with that Wonder Man show, because like it looks like it's sort of meta, but it's sort of actors do it. Like it is. It's very interesting. I have no idea what to expect from that out of this character that I really don't enjoy that much. So yeah, we'll see how that one's gonna go. That's the one that I kind of have the least faith in. But as Bri points out, the Ironheart suit looks like something out of Power Rangers. Bri's not wrong there. It doesn't look great, and I kind of thought that was the reason why they were just slowly keeping Riri locked up. And I thought they would slowly just say like, yeah, we go in a different direction. But it looks like they're going towards actually releasing it. So I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens. We've got a couple of quarters financial quarters to have to answer for. So. And that's one thing that they like to do. I don't know if you noticed, but a while back they announced like 3 or 4 untitled projects to happen in 2027 and 2028.
Yeah.
And that got people excited, and the stock market rallied behind them. And I'm pretty sure in 2026 they will cancel those.
I was going to say, just remember their announcements. I was very excited for Blade and the announcement that Mahershala Ali will possibly take up the mantle, and that sounded like it could have been awesome. But here we are.
I got to chime in on that. It's like you could tell me that they're releasing some new kind of unnamed sandwich. I'm not gonna get excited about it because it could be a shit sandwich. I don't know, right?
Well, it sounds like we almost got that sandwich.
You're gonna have to give me more than just an untitled sandwich.
That's a perfect segue, Pops, because Subway did announce that they will be releasing 5 unnamed sandwiches in 2025.
Oh, see, scary. That's scary stuff, guys. I'm not going to get excited about Subway in the first place. It's hard to get excited about something with no context.
But it could be anything in the sandwich.
Bread. What else? You know,
if they know what's good for them, they will not put it up to the public to vote on what these mystery sandwiches will be. Otherwise, you're going to get Pops' sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They did a sandwich, all right.
There was this contest where they wanted to name a boat, and they left it up to the internet. the internet kind of nominated and voted for Mr. Bodie or something like Bodie
I
McBoderson.
think it was Bodie McBoatface or something
Yeah,
along those lines.
that's exactly it, Bodie McBoatface. And after everything was said and done, they said, no, we're not doing that.
Well, do you remember Mountain Dew's like big campaign to name the next Dew? Um, I believe the top votes, they were all very controversial names, but I believe Hitler was referenced a few different times. Yeah, you don't want to leave it up to the public. Campaigns happen and people jump on bandwagons that are kind of funny. So
yes.
you should probably have a real
Nothing
plan,
to
like we were
follow.
talking about with Marvel, you know? You actually have a game plan going into it. They should know what those 5 sandwiches are. It shouldn't be a mystery to them.
Yes, they should be able to announce it and get people excited about it. But then again, if they announce something that people get excited about, like say the Bodie McBoatface trilogy, then what you have is people getting disappointed when Mahershala Ali has not made frame one of Bodie McBoatface. And
But he was in the post-credit scene for the Eternals where he's like telling Dane Whitman about his sword, and you want to learn about that? It just sucks because like they teased it way more than just there's this possible movie that'll come out. We had his voice as Blade in there.
yeah, and he's probably did some voice work for the upcoming What If that they have happening. So who knows? I don't think those. I've got this theory that the Young Avengers everybody's excited about is just going to be the regular Avengers, and
They're not that young, man.
they're not anymore. No, they won't be Young Avengers. They'll just be Avengers. It's like if you go to a
Gotta
fast
say,
food restaurant and you're in line for 15 minutes, it's no longer fast food. It's just food.
Are you sure
true.
they're not going to do that stupid Young Avengers thing that they did in the animation with Thor's daughter and Hawkeye's son? And
I think they straight up said it's Kate Bishop, so instead of Hawkeye's son, is that I haven't heard about Thor's daughter yet, but
She was in that last movie with Thor. He wound up adopting a child, and so
I guess
he
it just
does have.
depends how long they're gonna take because the ages all kind of need to work out. But then again, how old is the actress who's doing Riri Williams now?
And then the Hulk came up with a brooding emo son on the She-Hulk series.
And we may or may not have been introduced to Hulk's kid already because Wiccan is dating somebody, and in the comics, it just happens to be young Hulk or whatever.
Scar, I think, is his name. So
Yeah, I always forget those.
So,
But I do want to correct you on one thing where you're saying like everyone's excited for this Young Avengers. I think nobody's excited for it. Nobody was like, yes, Kate Bishop. We need her and we need Echo and everybody else that we've kind of teased. We need them to all come together. The first time I've been excited for it at all is through Agatha. It's like, oh, okay. So if he's leading the team, maybe this wouldn't suck. I would like to see the continuation of this. And I could see where Vision Quest wouldn't suck now. But we'll see. I do not put it past them to screw up anything. So I'm vaguely interested now where I was not before.
and just to catch up on Bry real quick, the Bodie McFo's boatface was replaced with Attenborough, so the boat was called the Attenborough,
Well, that sounds nice.
and the Young Avengers will be
Ooh,
on Earth, I think.
you think it's Earth? I'm not sure because there was one kind of leak that said like everything after I can't remember which one's going to be on Battle World. So I'm not sure if it's going to take place there or not. They also kind of teased that Wanda may be in the Void, so the Young Avengers might be going there, and then that might become Battle World. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to put it together, but they did show that giant shrine from Multiverse of Madness in the Void, so that would lead to some credibility that maybe she ended up in the Void. But we'll see. I guess nobody really knows, including Marvel, because they don't actually plan things out. Or
I
the
think they
MCU, I
can
should say.
rule out anything in that animated thing, though, because that was a time
I think so.
where Ultron had taken over and they went to fight Ultron.
Well, Ultron is coming back. He's going to be in Vision Quest. And the thing about Thor's kid, if you remember, Ant-Man's daughter was one actress, and then they replaced her with a second actress as an older 5-year jump. and then they replaced her again with a third actress. So it wouldn't be unheard of for Thor's daughter to be aged up because she's not necessarily human. Kind of like
Hmm.
it doesn't make sense that that Hulk would have a teenage son either. Because
Yeah.
Well, gamma radiation's all
they
around,
age
you
a little
know,
bit
and
different, in the confines of space, and time works differently in that
well, and
realm.
how they did it with She-Hulk, they kind of changed that. So now it's like one drop of blood is enough to Hulk you out. So who knows? Maybe he'll bleed on a nephew or something.
Well, I don't think it was a drop of blood that made that happen.
Fair enough.
Drop of
Not
something else.
canonically, but I believe that's what happened in the She-Hulk series. But
What if it's quite good? We talking about Hulk's blood or
That was
Hulk's,
one tough egg. I'll tell you that.
Hulk's other fluids? Oh, no.
I think he just means the What If show.
Yes.
Some of those episodes are really awesome, but perhaps I'm wrong.
I see. Yes, you are saying What If is quite good. The show is quite good. Yes, that's what.
The comics
mean-
were better.
True,
pretty much
but it is
everything
leading
they
to
do
a,
now.
a show of Marvel Zombies. Like the What If episode that they did really got popular. That Marvel Zombies thing. So now they're greenlit on their own show. So I kind of want to see that. So I'm excited for that at least.
Everything they do now is a what if story. Nothing's canon.
Pretty
anymore.
much. I mean, that is
Everything
kind of what
they
the
do is a
MCU
what if
is, right?
story. But the actual what if comics were really good. And
Here's
the cartoon ain't. I don't think it stands up to the actual comics.
here's a conspiracy theory I have, and that is that Marvel has long term story plans that are not consistent with the comic books. Essentially,
Well, yeah,
um,
that's-
here's what I mean by that. They had Black Panther show up, and then eventually get his own movie. But when the actor died, they shelved the character of T'Challa and moved straight into Siri being the next version of the Black Panther. And then they kind of placated everybody by saying he's got this illegitimate son somewhere, so that in the future there could be another Black Panther that isn't T'Challa but is somebody else. And they cloud the whole thing in honor in saying we're not going to recast because we're going to honor this person after they passed away, even though they've replaced several people who passed away
yeah.
with other
Look,
actors.
I
But
wasn't a fan
here's-
of that.
let me get to my point. It's the point is that they were never going to make more movies with Black Panther. I don't believe. I think they were always going towards Siri in the same way they were going to all of the Young Avengers. They plan
Probably.
on putting this group together of females and boys that identify female-ish, if you will, to have this more representative Avengers that fits their outlook on society, rather than the Steve Rogers square-chinned heroic white males. If that makes
Yeah,
any sense.
it definitely seems like there was a huge push in that direction. I wouldn't put that past them at all.
Except
The
T'Challa
only
was a white male.
wrench that I'd kind of throw in that is, after the success of Black Panther, they knew that they were doing Wakanda forever. I think they visioned that differently. I do think T'Challa would have been a bigger part of that, but yeah, I mean, with everything that they have, they've kind of shown that they don't have a lot of long-term plans. But I think the one that they did kind of stick with was the Young Avengers. I just mean with they're jumping into like Iron Man 2, jumping into Thor 2, jumping into the Multiverse of Madness without having like an actual script or director or anything locked in, but they're building sets already.
think a lot of
That to me isn't saying that they have the best long-term planning, but I do think you're right. There were these notes at the end that we're getting to the Young Avengers, and it's going to be this mostly female team.
Yes, and when you have a script that Mahershala Ali, and these are rumors about the scripts because I haven't read any of them or anything, but the rumors about the scripts is that it was mostly about Blade's daughter and kind of
Yep.
transitioning from Blade before he even got introduced. And there's it's 2 fight scenes, I believe, and that's it. And if you're going to introduce Blade just to get to Blade's daughter so she can be a part of this whole brand new um, open-ended Avengers, I don't know what a good way to call that without seeming like a bigot, you know. But it seems like that was that was the destination that they didn't know how to get to, that they were planning
Yes.
on getting to eventually.
Okay.
I think they were even doing parts of that with Daredevil as well, and that's why that had to be a completely reshot, retooled, everything.
And you had to have Scar show up at some point because Billy was always in the plans, which means that WandaVision was all about bringing Billy and his brother here.
I mean,
You
Every-
guys
in it
are
quite
looking at- I haven't
prominently.
even got to comment on T'Challa, and you guys are like 3 shows off now. Come on.
Sorry, Pops. I apologize.
It's not necessarily 3 shows. It's about one plan that Disney had to replace the, like the whole idea of what superheroes are. Beautiful
Right,
women
right.
and strong men.
I'm
And-
just saying, T'Challa was a minority. He was an ethnic character. They weren't going to wash him, even though they had Siri in the works. They still weren't going to wash him. It's the first time a actor retired a Marvel character. That's the part that bothers me.
I think it happened early, and they just ran with it. I think they were going to retire T'Challa. They had plans to do that in the first place, and they just got to it sooner than they planned on doing it, and so they stuck with it and ran with it and have not looked back. I mean, they ignore everybody's call to recast T'Challa and don't even acknowledge it as an issue.
But now they're honoring him. So you understand they're being valiant by not
No.
changing. But I think you're right. That seems to be a safe assumption based off of every other character that they're doing.
Yeah. So, and again, that's a conspiracy that I have about it. And not that there's anything wrong in the direction that they're going with. It's just that they don't seem to be being honest about it.
I'll say there's something wrong with it. I'll say it. You don't have to, but I will.
No. The idea has always been that if you want this sort of character, you need to create brand new characters. And, if you jump down the rabbit hole before they started moving in this direction, they did that in the comic books. All of these characters are comic accurate, and that takes away anybody's bigoted idea that, well, you're just doing this because of this and this and whatever. And they can say, well, no, it's actually comic accurate now because we tanked the comic books long before we tanked the cinematic universe.
Yeah, but
we
that's
started
what
printing
I'm
these.
saying, though. It's like it's still everything is
Not accurate.
alternate universe. Everything is multiverse. Everything can be explained by a different timeline. They can do whatever the fuck they want now, and explain it off. But it still ain't what we know of.
Kamala Khan is in an alternate universe. She hung out with Spider-Man and stuff. That was in the in the comic books itself. Those comic books didn't sell so well, but they were,
Exactly.
and that's the point.
Exactly. That's they tried to do that shit then, and it tanked then.
It's not that they did that so that they could establish it in the comic book lore and then bring it to the cinematic universe and
So it
say
can
that it
tank
is
again.
actually canon. It's not about tanking. It's about establishing a brand new audience.
None
So-
of us buy it though.
Well, you're too old to buy it and you're in the wrong demographic. They don't want you. They want somebody else. They want somebody new. They want these. they
Yeah, I
want
know. I got
these
grandkids that
people.
read comics, and they like the older stuff much more than anything new.
Well, that's because they got you introducing them to it. So,
They can go to the store and get whatever they want. They'd rather go through Grandpa's boxes.
well, see, that's what they're exposed
You
to.
know?
I was telling my son, we listened to a lot of 1950s style music in my household because that's what I listened to. And it's not because I grew up in the 50s. It's because the people surrounding me grew up in the 50s. My parents had 2 waves of children about 15 years apart. So the first group were raised, listening to that kind of music. The second group, which was me, wound up growing up with the older siblings being the ones who were listening to it. My oldest brother is in his 70s. Okay. So, when you grow up around a certain thing being forced on you because you're not allowed to touch it, you're not old enough, then that's what you hear a lot of. So imagine being listening to Chuck Berry and Led Zeppelin in the same era, crossing back and forth with
Yeah,
Rush
I
and
got to listen to
Fats
Elvis,
Domino.
Elvis and Patsy Cline and Jimi Hendrix and Dan
Yes.
Fogelberg. I had the
The 80s was
older
a confusing time.
dude. I had the older music realm of hell.
So my
You know?
son is growing up listening to that as well because that's what I'm forcing everybody in my household to listen to when they got control of the digital music. And so your grandchildren, they may not have access to the comic book store as it is right now, but they do have access to your long
Oh,
boxes,
but they do.
and
They got
that's
access to
going.
everything.
Well, you know what I'm
Anything.
saying. They're not there every day at the comic book store. It's not on their walk home from school, but your long boxes are right there every day, 7 days a week. So that's what they're being exposed to more of than they are what's out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know. And I'm just saying, they know what's out there. They go to the movies, they come home, they go, Grandpa, what the hell was that I just watched? You see what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
not fooling the younger generation either with this crap, man. That's what I'm saying.
But
It's
some of them
like,
there are, and it takes a while to build an audience to something that they don't know they are missing. What is it the TikTokers always say? It's the something or other, whatever it is, that I didn't know I needed. And that's what they're trying to create is a need for something that nobody knew existed. And when it comes to the Madness Network on Roku, that's what you're trying to do as well, is you're trying to bring people into something that they didn't know that they needed or know that they wanted. They're trying to grow a brand new audience out of whole cloth. And they don't have the government to sit down here and tell you, all right, from now on, everybody's got to buy digital televisions because we're just killing the old analog system. They don't have that, so they've got to try to
kind of
build it. The government is trying to kill the gas powered automobile.
Yeah, yeah.
That and just to tell you how old I am, nobody calls it gas powered automobiles anymore.
Rush wrote a song about that too. It's called Red Barchetta. They talk about the motor law and how dude goes and gets in that hot rod and goes for a crazy ride and gets chased by the evil government empire. And it's cool, man. You gotta listen to Rush. They predicted all this shit. All this shit.
Marvel Updates says Jason Statham is in the Young Avengers. He's too
As
old.
an old
Finally. What are you talking about? He is a spry young lad.
He was balding at 13.
He would have to be the Alfred or whatever, the Jarvis of the
Mayo
Young
Vision
Avengers.
get an upgrade?
He would have to be the Jarvis, the
They-
guy who's trying to bring them all together, right?
I don't know who Jason Statham would play.
Yeah, I'm
He had to be
a
the
bit
old-
clueless.
the
I
old
just kind of
lead.
know the one arc of Young Avengers. I'm not very familiar with it.
The Professor X of the group, so if you will.
Maybe he's Professor X.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why not just have Jason Statham as Professor X?
There
Perfect.
you go. It might be that. Who knows who's going to be instructing the Young Avengers? They're not just going to be out there willy-nilly teenagers going crazy. There's going to have to be somebody in charge.
I think it is Vision for right now, this particular part of Vision, which is part of Ultron and part of Jarvis. So
Mhm.
you kind of have exactly what you're saying, leading him. But I think he's the one who's doing the Young Avengers protocol, but I could be wrong.
Like a Happy Hogan type. There you go.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what?
Fair enough. I just assumed he would have to be super.
You have a white Vision that doesn't know anything about who he is and is incomplete essentially. It's just the robot part of him. And if you bring back Ultron, they can come back together and kind of form the original Vision like he was before. So that makes sense that they would bring him in. Spoiler alert and rumor territory, if you will. But that makes sense because that's what he was. He was infused with that stone. He was part of the consciousness of Jarvis. He was what Ultron was building, and that's how they got to where he was. So it makes sense that they would have those characters together in a final version.
I think Thor's son is old enough to be a young Avenger.
Thor's son?
Yeah, Thunderstrike. You guys know him, don't you?
They haven't introduced him yet.
He actually has a son.
Well, he used to drink a lot, so I would imagine that he's probably got a couple.
He's got some lost years where he was partying.
His son's been around since the 90s, so his son would be old now, too old to be a young Avenger.
Well, yeah, you're not in the cinematic universe. He has not been, so wow. Somebody wants attention or needs to go potty.
He's all the way upstairs. He's playing with somebody. He's playing with the kids. Just a loud one.
It sounds like a basset hound. What kind of dog is that?
Wow.
That's a larger breed dog, isn't it?
We have a husky and a puppy golden retriever.
Okay, so that's not the puppy. That's the husky.
No, that's the husky. Yeah, that's Rocky. Rocky talks to everybody all the time.
He says, that's just me. It doesn't say that. Oh, about the Happy Hogan type. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess I was just assuming it would be a superhero, but you're right. Why wouldn't S.H.I.E.L.D. or SWORD or whatever organization be kind of involved in that?
I'm not sure what kind of track record Marvel Updates has as far as breaking the rumors and whatnot. Probably better than mine. I don't have a very good track record of predicting things. So we'll see what happens. Boy, did I kill that one? Did I kill this one?
Sorry, my dog was also barking, so I just muted myself. I apologize. I did not agree with you. Yeah, anything that's kind of reported, who knows if they're ever going to follow through with it. They have however many script and director changes for any given project. Who knows? Everyone's going to kind of change it their own little way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Bob couldn't make it today. He had other plans.
But there were sports he could have talked about.
Yes, there are always sports that Bob can talk about. And we without Bob here, there's not a whole lot we can do to play to do the sports. Hang on, I'm trying to find the music. Where is it? Is that it? Instead.
Oh yeah. Now we got some energy up in here.
Formula One is live in Brazil right now, and that's not the only thing that's going on, because today at 3:25, the LA Raiders will take on the Seahawks. 3:25 also, Detroit will take on Green Bay. Chicago at 3:05 will take on Arizona. And the Orlando, let's see, let me keep going on that. At 12 noon, who is No? N-O. I don't know who No is, but they're taking on Carr, whatever that is. Indiana takes on Minnesota at 7:20 p.m. tonight. The LAC will take on CLE, whoever they are, because I don't know. Dallas will be in Atlanta at noon. Denver will be...
That's Cleveland. CLE be Cleveland.
Okay.
Cleveland.
I can go back. Cleveland versus LAC, whoever that is.
Really?
I don't know. I don't do sports.
What? You're not familiar with the Lakers, the LACs?
Is that the Lakers? I thought they were basketball.
No.
Jaguars takes on... Was that not on loop? We lost the music. The Raiders, Las Vegas versus Cincinnati at 12 noon. 3:05, the Jaguars take on Philadelphia Eagles. 12 noon, Washington versus NYG, the New York Giants? New York.
That's correct.
Sure. NE, the New England Patriots will take on Tennessee Is that Tennessee? I don't know who that is. Miami Dolphins will take on Buffalo also at noon at 6 p.m. tonight. Orlando versus Dallas. Didn't I just say that? I did, didn't I? Atlanta versus, looks like a moth. I don't know. NOP? Who's NOP? Bueller? Bueller? Who knows? Louisiana versus Clem? Who is Clem? See, this is why we need Bob.
So you said NOP. Would that be New Orleans Pelicans
Patriots?
or whatever?
New Orleans Patriots? No, I don't know.
Fair enough. I sports ball. Yay.
Yes, Detroit versus Nets, 2:30, maybe, unless it's somebody else. Detroit versus Buffalo, final for the NHL. There we go. We're in a new sport. Oh, that's what it was. It was NCAA football. No wonder I didn't know who it was. They were, and Detroit was versus the Mets. I think that's NBA. So I was looking at it. It's not all sports ball. Okay, it's all sports ball. It's just not all. Yes. Anyway, sports is happening today. Enjoy it while you can. Bills versus Dolphins. People are excited about that. Barcelona leads Espanyol with Yamal's assist, so that's trending right now. There was some kind of baseball this past week. I think that happened. Maybe the World Series.
Yeah, there's a little game, you know.
Yeah, somebody won it. I'm sure somebody will tell us what happened. People are excited about the Eagles versus the Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills versus the Dolphins. And yeah, so that was sports without Bob. Vikings Colts versus is on Peacocks, not suitable for work. Is that what you wrote, Pops?
Sunday Night Football.
You will never catch me making friends in a sports bar. That is
Sunday Night Football. Sunday night, nighttime, late.
And dyslexia got the better of me. I saw not suitable for work.
Well, Bob makes it look easy. You know, Bob, you're sorely missed, and you're needed for these sports updates.
Yes, you have value, Bob. No matter what Joker says.
Big shoes. We cannot fill them.
We cannot fill them here. No. We killed an hour with comics, but we can't do sports for like 5 minutes.
Well, we could, but I'm not going to take Bob's place. I'm never going to try to replace Bob, but I know a little something about some sports, a little something.
Well, we know that once his bail hearing happens, he'll be able to be free to join us again.
Yeah, we're hoping the arraignment goes well.
Yes. Best of luck with the bribery of the judge, Bob.
No, just do the lawyers. They pay the judge. You don't ever have to do that with the judge. Don't never, ever do that with the judge.
Well, not while he's on the stand. You know, you can't.
No, not at all. The greasing of the palms thing happens in a private office with your lawyer. That's why you pay them so much. Then they go grease the proper palms to make things happen. That's their job, not yours. Okay, do not overstep your boundaries. You may end up in prison for a long time. I'm just saying.
For those who don't know and are fully unaware, we'll just make this perfectly clear that bribery is against the law.
Oh,
yeah, only lawyers can do it. I'm saying.
Yes, we are not offering legal advice. We are in for entertainment purposes only. We do not offer legal advice. We do not offer legal counsel or medical advice.
They don't tell you they're doing it. That's just what they spend part of your money on. It's, you know, I mean, they don't. I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to go do this. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that part, but we know that part goes on. So don't go talk to the judge about nothing. Leave the judge alone. Don't talk to the judge.
And this has been Bob Knows Sports. Brought to you by
referees too. Don't talk to the referee. Let your coach do that.
Brought to you by Pops Van Zant Legal Counsel. Round 2. Fight. I wonder if this is all connected. Will the music start echoing if I turn on the echo? No, it's not.
No,
How about Tyson
That's nice.
Jake Paul?
Tyson and Jake Paul. I don't know if they put that off or when it's going to happen. Is that happening here in November?
November 17th or something like that. 16th or 17th, something like that.
Wow, we get to find out finally if
Mike is
Mike
gonna
Tyson
kill him. Mike is gonna kill him, dude. He's gonna kill him. Right there in front of God and everybody.
Mike will do silly things for money. He did a cartoon called the Mike Tyson Mysteries. So I mean,
it was an awesome show, though.
Go look at that
Norm
last
Macdonald as a
quote.
pigeon. It was great.
Go look at that last quote that Tyson said. Something about if you think I'm doing this for the money, you're stupid.
Yeah, well, he didn't think you could also assault your wife. So
He said he is going to retire Jake Paul and send him to the WWE with his classless brother.
may or may not happen. So,
Pretty funny stuff. I hope.
well, yeah, I mean that makes for good promo. And if he pulls a Buster Douglas, everybody be caught off guard.
I think he's gonna smash, dude. Smash him. Mike ain't going out that way. Mike ain't going out that way.
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen out there with? Good morning, Lucifer. What do you think is going to happen with the Mike Tyson fight? Let us know, and we'll talk about that. For those of you who don't know, this is the Open Sun Topic Sunday stream. So whatever you want to talk about, we are willing to talk about right here and there and everywhere. So let us know in the comments below, and we will follow your lead. Hey, says Gray Poupée. And we'll do it. We talked about the floods in Spain. We talked about wrestling. We talked about all kinds of things. So we're willing to do it. We talked about
Formula One and sports.
The season finale of The Penguin is coming up.
Yes. I've been digging that show so much. Sadly, I'm one episode behind, so I need to catch up. But I think that means I get 2 today. So hell yeah.
Yeah. So Lucifer says Mike is going to hurt Jake to his core.
Yeah. He's gonna rattle that dude. That dude
Okay,
ain't never been hit. Look, when you age, the last thing to go is your power. The last thing.
I understand what you all are saying, but have you seen how many followers Jake Paul has? Or Logan Paul? The Paul brothers.
That's Logan. Jake.
I'm just saying, both of them together, they're followers. They're far more than Mike Tyson. So looks like it could be anyone's fight.
He's one of the best boxers in human history, and has old man strength. You know, that I take nothing away from what you're thinking there, Lucifer. However, I do believe that this particular match is not sanctioned.
Yeah, go look. They changed a few rules. They fudged a little bit, but I believe it is sanctioned.
We'll find out here in just a second. But I'm gonna say that the last few fights there have been a few boom, you go down kind of things. So I think that's probably we're going to see that really early on because Mike Tyson does to hit hard and he's going to call for the dive early. I think the big controversy will be that Mike Tyson's going to have too much fun to take the dive early and may want to extend it a few more rounds. But I do think he will dive when it comes time.
I don't.
I didn't think you were going to put the V on there. I was going to say, wow, you're predicting imminent death.
Mike has that in him, guys. I mean, why work that
yeah,
hard?
he looked so impressive with his practice videos.
If you're going to just go out there and lay down. And old guys don't think the same way that young guys do. Come on.
Well, wrestlers work really, really hard, and they all take dives.
That's all
Entertainment.
that's all predetermined. We know that.
And so have Jake Paul's fights, haven't they been?
No, he just been choosing people he knew he could beat. He's been protected by himself. He hasn't even fought anybody that can hit like Mike. Dude, come on.
There aren't many that
I
can
gotta
hit like
hit him
Mike.
once. He's
So
gonna
it's,
go, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
Oh, there it is. Pops, I stand corrected because I'm willing to stand corrected. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight to be a sanctioned pro boxing match.
Hmm.
nice. Just a slight age gap between the two.
You know what? I think he's going to misjudge that beard and chin. Uh,
It does seem like a strategic advantage. It also wouldn't it pillow the cushion the blow a little bit?
you would think
Um,
not so much.
That's not. Yeah, I ain't worried about it.
I'm just saying, if I get the chance to have a very bushy beard when Mike Tyson punches me or not, I think I'd take the beard. But
Okay.
you never know.
You know,
I don't think it's going to save me.
this will be one of those times where my opinion. Oops, wrong one. Keep doing that in the wrong spot. Hold on. So I was proved wrong that this is actually going to be a sanctioned fight. I thought it was not going to be a sanctioned fight. Now that I know that it's a sanctioned fight, I have to change my opinion on what's going to happen since it will be recognized in their record. The results will affect their personal records, which means that to me, Mike Tyson's not going to give that up.
That's what I'm saying.
And I have to go with the guys now. I have to go with Lucifer and Pops on this that Mike Tyson will destroy Jake. And so, even though he's 57 years old, what's going on here? He says, I feel bad for Jake, even though he will walk away with a couple of million.
Ooh, so
I'm gonna
Lucifer
take a
said
big hit to the
Jake's gonna be
ego
able
of that poor kid.
It wouldn't be the first person who took a bout with Mike Tyson just to know that they were, even if they did their best, they were going to get a significant amount of money for losing. So, yeah.
Mm. It's gonna be good.
So tune in early. Wait, is this his second pro fight? Is that what it said here? It's crazy to think that in my second pro fight, I went viral for knocking out Nate Rose. Mike Tyson's undercard. Wow. I'm stepping into Mike Tyson myself to see if I have what it takes to beat one of boxing's most notorious fighters and biggest icons. You do not, Jake. You do not. Enjoy the payday for what it is. Please, by all means, take the dive early so you don't get hurt. That's my hope.
Your audio is whacking out, or my speakers are.
it sounded like he just went underwater for some reason, Rosales. I don't know exactly what happened.
That's
Usually
what's
restream.
happening.
Now it's fixed. Why does
I think
restream
it's
do that?
every time he shares a screen, his mic goes to shit. It was that way when I first tuned in on YouTube before I came in. Because remember, I said the audio is whacked. You sounded like that then too.
Wah, 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 wah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
We're also streaming to Charlie Brown's Teachers. So
That's the teacher's lounge.
yes.
That's all of us. Mwah, 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 mwah.
I heard a guy say that to a lady at school one time. He was acting up in school, and he was talking back to the teacher, and she was telling him he needed to do something. He told her she needed to do something, all of which I can't repeat here. And he said, or maybe I should say it in a language you understand. Wah 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 wah. And,
Good stuff.
which yeah, that was a pretty good one.
stuff.
Better. I'm glad we fixed that for you. Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's maybe it's a restream issue, maybe it's something else, but I've heard it on a couple of different channels.
I'm
It
going with
was
Gremlins.
the Gremlins also invaded Evie Mux the other night with Charles, and
Indeed.
definitely took his channel to task. But he muscled through and did his best. We were talking about it for just about a couple of minutes. Penguin, if well, it's kind of hard to say this in front of Gray, but in the last episode, Penguin
Tuna.
was finally mustered together a coalition behind him to face the coalition of mafioso families. So it all comes to a head in the final episode of The Penguin. Will he become the big giant crime lord he's always meant to be? Or will he continue to work from the underground in his underground lair as done in the comic books? We shall see tonight, 9 p.m. Central, I think, maybe 8 p.m. or laters or sooners. Who knows? I don't know what the schedule is on HBO Max. Have you been keeping up with the Pops?
What?
Sounds like it.
What?
With the Penguin? Have you been keeping up with the Penguin?
No, I do not have that streaming service.
I didn't ask that.
No. I do not.
He's an honest man. Come on, Rasal.
I don't pirate like anything. I got lucky the other night. Somebody had put Wolverine and Deadpool up on YouTube, and I got to watch it. But I don't go looking for shit. If it falls in my lap, that's one thing. But look, I want you guys. I want everybody to make their money. That's part of why I do what I do.
You are not the only person who thinks 8 episodes is too short of a season. 80% of the panel used to watch TV in the 90s.
Yeah, we want our 26 episode seasons back.
Kind of agreeing with Lucifer though. Like 12 seems pretty decent. Like it did seem like some of them in the 20s had some filler in there, but man, 8 is too short. That's why Agatha needed 9. Come on.
Yeah, I think even Agatha, I think might. I don't know. I didn't see the show. I shouldn't say it's got filler because I don't know. I didn't watch it. But I do know that back in the day, you had sometimes 32 episodes, and then you had like 16 would be the halfway point for some of them, and so they started doing 16, and it just got to the point where it's kind of like fast food. If they can get you to pull up, they'll make you pull up and wait 20 minutes for your fast food. If you stick at the window, they'll give it to you at the appointed time because they've got a timer. Roughly, it should be less than 3 minutes between ordering your food and getting your food. It should take you about 2.5 minutes to get to the window. But now, since they have these now parking spots where you can go to and pulling forward and all this other kind of stuff, they can just queue you out of the line and get as many people started or stranded, if you will, as they want. And the same thing's happening with television. As long as you're watching the 8 episodes, they will continue to make 8 episodes or less. And I got a whole article on how they can fix the streaming shows on RosalisComics.com/.
I did the same thing with all the good comics. They went down to, we're going to give you 6 issues, 1 through 6, and then we're going to do it again, 1 through 12, and then we're going to do 1 through 6. And very few titles actually get into the 20s anymore. That start at 1 that are a new title. Very few of them make it anywhere. They're lucky they get 12, and then they get rebooted, revamped, whatever. I think Savage Avengers made it to 28 before they volume 2'd it and ruined it. It's the same in comics. They just don't want to give you a good long freaking run of good stuff anymore.
And if the title itself isn't making the kind of returns that it should, and And trust me, they're putting comic books out as a giveaway. They're
Mhm.
not really concerned about sales, but when it comes down to sales being almost nothing, then they will pull the series before it's even done.
Yeah,
That's happened more than once on a title that just would not move any units.
yeah.
Um,
And the only ones that do get past 12, like I said, are ones that actually are selling.
mhm.
And then they won't give them very long before they screw them up too.
And then reboot the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're back to a number one.
Yeah, and it's not going to be the same. They'll change the people involved. They'll uh, manipulate the characters, so to speak. We'll say it nicely. They'll manipulate the characters, and it won't be the same.
Somebody
The
somewhere
sales will drop.
is going to create their very own homemade volume like they use in Hollywood. And they're going to get together with some teenage kids who know all about using Blender 3D. And they're going to put together 24 episodes of something that cost them like, $50,000 to make. And it's going to be a quality piece of work and it's going to put everybody to shame. And then everybody will get their act together. But not until somebody on their own throws something up on Amazon or Tubi and makes a mockery out of the entire system will there be some sort of change.
Yep, you're right. And it will never be in the box office.
When I planned on doing, I have a book by the name of The Grim Tales of Rainbow Falls. It wasn't always a book. It was supposed to be a web series. And I planned on doing 12 episodes of interconnected episodes, each with an individual storyline involved as well. So you'd have these individual stories with a wraparound episode that kept going, kind of like, I guess a good comparison would be Haven, if you ever saw that.
Yes.
They got the monster of the week, but they also got the ongoing storylines as well.
Yeah.
So that's what it was going to be like. But and if you read the book, it will read like you're watching a series. Um, so, but where was I going with this? They're not really doing that these days. Now, like say Agatha is just one story. Okay, it's not really 9 stories. It's one story with where you're telling chapters in each individual episode. And because the chapters themselves vary, that you don't have a consistency in the length of the shows. And you see that with almost all of the Disney shows. They can range from 35 minutes to 60 minutes in length, individual episodes. It doesn't matter because the stories are inconsistent because they're chapters as opposed to being a fully controlled story all the way through. So they've got to go back to storytelling and telling a complete story in an episode, even if it's got an
Yeah.
overarching element to it.
And that is something that I think a lot of the shows from Max or HBO, whatever you want to call it, have done, and they have been consistent with it. And it doesn't feel like their episodes are all over the place. It feels like it is a set amount of time, even though, they were kind of like a streamer before a streamer. Like, what does it matter how long a show is? They've got control over, their whole programming or whatever. But man, I don't know. They figured out how to do it and keep it consistent.
Yeah.
I don't think of one from them that I really hate.
The one episode of The Penguin I thought at the very beginning of it was filler, was the one with Sophia Falcone in the mental institution. But
you learned so much about her. Oh, I love that episode.
No, it's a good episode. Don't get me wrong. I said at the very beginning of it, it felt like filler. However, the way that it ended wrapped around back to solidly into the story, and it addressed several issues that were plaguing that particular character and put her firmly in control of her own destiny. So, yes, it was a banger of a show. It was a banger of an episode, and it did a lot.
Agatha attempted something very similar to that, and they're also doing it with like kind of a story from the past where they kind of go back and kind of explain her backstory a little bit more. I don't know that they were as successful, but that is kind of the part that you were saying, like, is all exposition. It's like, it kind of is, but it helps you kind of recontextualize all the events that you've seen with this character because now you know what they've been through. That like, Oh, so Penguin was just her chauffeur before, or the Penguin. Um, Oz. So I don't know. It does kind of. I feel like that show's getting a little bit less credit. That being said, these are in two completely different ballparks. They are not the same thing. This is very gritty and real. The other one is, it's supposed to be kind of fun, kind of lighthearted with a lot of references.
You can't really say hold pizza to the same standards that you hold steak, and you can
For
enjoy
sure,
it both.
it is not the same entree.
But you can't use the same standards to judge them by. So you can't go from Penguin and have that same checklist and turn around and go to Agatha and apply that and go, whoa, this is not really meeting the criteria. No, they have to be judged individually as their own pieces of work, their own pieces of cinema, their own pieces of television, and what it is that they're trying to achieve.
I'm just glad that there's finally two that I can kind of enjoy for their own reasons, because it's been a while.
Yes. Been a while since you've enjoyed television, I think.
It has. Maybe I'm just starved for it, but let me say, even though one is a little bit more fast food of a meal, I'm still enjoying it. But Penguin, hearty, great, amazing steak, aged to perfection.
You really enjoy pizza, then you don't think the comparison between Agatha and pizza is fair. I can understand that as well. So, well said. Well said, Gray. Well said.
I think that must have been to you, sir. I'm just assuming.
Oh, well, I assumed you. Maybe he was talking about Pops.
Yeah, we all agree. Pop said everything well.
So yeah, it's open topic. I think we got time for one more topic. If you've got one out there, you want to say something to the peoples out there in video land. We are still at 400 subs, so if you can bring us up to 401, 402, that would be great. We'd like to have you out there. Come down there and to YouTube and give us a like, give us a subscribe. Help us reach 500 at some point. And take a look at all the people we support. Some of the people that show up on occasion to our channel.
I know those guys.
Willis Credia, That Darn Kitty, Gray Poupée, Chillmonger, The Joker's Corner, the people that post all of my digital comics, Global Comics, The Jaded Fanboy, Miss 7076, and the Unbiased Movie Nerd, who does role playing every Saturday night. So him and his adventure team go out and do adventures and stuff like that. So yeah.
We like that.
Like and subscribe, and we'll keep you posted on how well that works out.
I do gotta go get ready for shows and stuff because it's Sunday. You guys help me get in the groove, and then I go to work.
Well, let everybody know where they can find you and what's coming up today on the Madness Network.
We are the Madness Comic Network, pretty much everywhere. We actually even have a new website, the Meg TV, that's in construction, but you can go look at it. You can go see what we're building. The Meg, M-E-G, the Meg.tv. And things are happening, guys. Today we got the Madness Open Draw stream at 1 o'clock. The show-offs, we're taking a week off because Dave is out traipsing the UK. He's out and about. He's doing his thing. Sometimes he goes to comic stores, stuff like that. Comes back next week with more cool stuff for the show-offs. Yeah, there you go. See, it's in construction. We only have a few of the show pages up there so far, but we're working on it, right? If you go to creators up at the top, creators. If you click
you want
on,
me to go up there? Okay.
Yeah, if you click on that right there, see you got Lori. You can go look at Lori's page, and that'll give you an idea of what everybody else's page is going to look like. And then we're also going to have sponsor pages for our sponsors, right? All the stuff they do, links to what they do, where their shows are, everything, So it's like I said, man, we're expanding, we're building, we're growing, we're doing the thing. We're trying to make it better, bigger and better. One show at a time. bigger, better network, one show at a time.
Okay.
We got a whole bunch of stuff to add to that. Trust me. That's how it looks. That's the beginning of it. But we got a long way to go. We got so many other shows we have to add to that, and other creators and sponsors and everything. So a lot of work.
No idea who you're hosting with, but you should have hosted at dmrhosting.com.
Actually, my chief financial officer's daughter builds web pages.
Oh.
So we just got that all in-house, bro.
DMRhosting.com offers fast and affordable websites and hosting available. They do domains and everything else. And DMR Hosting starts at $4.99. So unless she's popping the bill for you, this can't get all this.
The .tv that we all that man. It's like finding my business partner was like the exact thing we needed, because now we can do all the stuff that I couldn't do before. You know what I mean? And he's got connections in so many different aspects of what we're doing. And it's like every time I get an idea, hey man, what do you think? Dude's like, roll with it. Or now we might run into legal issues with that, right? I have somebody to bounce my ideas off. And if it's a good idea, I get the okay from my partner to roll, and then I get to go have fun doing what I do, which is running the network. The Madness Open Draw stream at 1. Usually the show offs at 3:30 on Sundays. Later tonight, we have 3 Beer Men at 7 o'clock. And Silverline Sunday at 8 o'clock. And dang, I don't think I have anything after that tonight. Amazingly, I don't think I have anything late on a Sunday night. No, nothing late tonight. Cool. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was last week. Okay, yeah, we're good. So Silverline show will be the last show of the night, unless I just go out and do something crazy. But, we do all kinds of stuff. And tomorrow we have Alex Daw. And who else on Monday Madness? Let me check. Alex Daw and RJ Carter from Critical Blast Publishing and Logistics. And if you don't know about Critical Blast, go check out Critical Blast. They do publishing. They put your books in Amazon and Barnes and Noble. They do print publishing, like actual physical copy print publishing. He does fulfillment for campaigns. If you have a comic campaign or something and you don't like the hassle of bagging and boarding and boxing and doing all that, he does all that. Doesn't cost you nothing, because his fee comes out of shipping costs. Can you dig it? Dude's got a real cool thing going on over there. Criticalblast.com. Go check it out.
Go check it out.
There you go.
And before you go, Pops, let me just ask you real quick. How do you feel about squirrels?
Let me see. We have a lot of them in the neighborhood. A lot of them. As far as going Caddyshack on the little critters, nah.
Well, there was a squirrel, infamous squirrel now, but he was internet famous. He was Peanuts.
Still is famous. We miss you, buddy.
Infamous now because he was taken from his owner and euthanized. And that doesn't mean that they made him younger.
No. We actually had to do that. Put one of our dogs down last week, so I know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luna, old Luna,
old age.
Old Luna. She was just too old. She couldn't do it no more. She couldn't go up downstairs. She couldn't do nothing. Peeing in the house, pooping in the house. She's done, guys. She's done. Hard to do, but she was our first rescue dog, like 8 years ago or something, right? First one we brought home that had been abandoned by somebody, just abandoned, thrown out of the car and took off. And we brought her home. My
Rest
son.
in peace, Luna.
Yes.
But how do you feel?
You're able to.
How do I feel about your dog dying?
No, squirrels.
No, squirrels, sir.
Okay.
I think we all feel the same about Luna. We're glad that Luna actually got some stability and somebody that actually wanted them. But
Nothing quite like a dog that realizes he has a forever home, or she.
Yeah.
And yeah,
She's a good dog. She's a mean old bitch. She was our mean old bitch. You know, I mean, she had to deal with 2 huskies most of her life. So,
R.I.P. Peanut, R.I.P. Luna.
so
and I think-
Peanut had an actual internet presence, huh?
yeah,
yes,
Peanut was
yes.
famous as hell. Still is, but yeah, sadly, no more new videos.
Yes. Is it legal to have a pet squirrel? Not in New York. Beloved Peanut, the squirrel, was euthanized in New York. Apparently, she was a little too famous because somebody who hates people having fun or living life to their fullest reported her to the New York authorities, and they went down to claim Peanut because it's not legal to have a wild animal in your house. Now, before you think that they went to his apartment in upstate, they did not. They went to his mother's ranch, or his ranch, depending on which way you look at it. But it was a ranch in New York, okay? So they went to farmland to take a wild animal out of a house because it was illegal. It took about 9 men. Oh, look at that. I didn't see this earlier. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm not humble enough not to show that. So go back to RIP Peanut. But yes, and they basically burst in and they took the squirrel and they took a raccoon.
And Fred. Poor Fred.
Yes.
Poor
Peanut's at least getting some recognition from this. Nobody's talking about Fred.
Nobody's
Rest
talking
in
about
peace,
Fred.
both of you.
But it was Fred that apparently bit a worker. And so, since Fred bit the worker, they needed to check the animals for rabies. And you can't do that while they're alive, so they euthanized them to check them for rabies. And good news, no rabies.
It's a sad story, too, because Peanut was a rescue. Supposedly, the mother was like hit by a car, and the guy found the baby squirrel, and that's how his kind of love of squirrels and his internet presence became known. Like, it's a good Samaritan trying to help out a little baby. I don't know, which it's awesome, and I guess he created some sort of charity or organization that's dealing with rehabbing squirrels. But I don't know if that puts that in jeopardy now that his squirrels were taken, or his squirrel and raccoon were taken.
He was in the midst of getting a license to care for wild animals, which would have allowed him to keep the squirrel. But being in the process of getting the license and having the license are 2 separately different things. And when New York decides they're going to enforce the law,
Yep.
which isn't often,
Even if they have to change it to enforce it.
yes, we're not going back to Trump. We're on Peanut right now, Bob.
I did not say that. You did.
That just sucks. As one with exotic animals, I don't know. I got 3 marsupials. They're sugar gliders, but they're very close to squirrels, kind of like flying squirrels. Man, that would suck. I could not imagine somebody like busting down my door and taking them. Yes, it is. Not in every state. I have to be careful if I do ever travel anywhere with them because, this could actually happen. It's kind of scary, but man, I'm generally pro squirrel. I guess we've got these weird invasive squirrels that are coming in now. I think they're like red-eared squirrels or something like that. They're killing all the, I think they call them brown squirrels. But so I don't know if there's a squirrel war going on around me, but still, I'm pro squirrel. But
Red
man,
ball,
this
baby.
just
Red ball.
this just makes me upset. It seems like you could definitely see that this squirrel is not rabid and isn't hurting anyone, but man, that sucks that the only way to test for that is to euthanize.
Communist squirrels have always been trouble. Yeah.
Okay, I got one more quick thing to plug before I go real quick. Tomorrow is going to be the very first episode of Fourth Wall Interviews with Pops Van Zandt. And I will be interviewing the mayor of Slaughterville. You guys aren't going to want to miss this. 12 p.m. Eastern, I will be interviewing the mayor of Slaughterville. I have talked to quite a few people that want me to interview their characters live on the show. Mike Barron's Badger will be one of the characters that we interview in the near future. There are quite a few more. This show's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. We're not talking to the creators, guys. We're talking to the characters. Get ready for this. It's going to be a blast. And
thanks for being here, Pops. As always.
I'll make sure to come in next week and we can talk about this great interview with the mayor of Slaughterville. Because if you don't know about Slaughterville, go check it out. You'll dig it. It's cool stuff. It's a game. It's a comic book. It's a novel. It's tabletop, a RPG. It's everything, right? Go check it out, and then check it out tomorrow when I interview the mayor. Because who else is going to know more about Slaughterville than the mayor?
That's true.
There we go. Check it out. You can have a good time. Thanks for having me out, Dan. Good to see you.
Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, brother. And I will talk to everybody next week. Peace.
Peace.
See ya.
There we go. And then there were two.
Are you generally pro squirrel or are you anti squirrel? Which camp do you go in, Rosales?
Well, the squirrels have kept me from having any of the apples from my tree. We've had the tree for close to 8 years now, and none of them have gone full bloom because the squirrels eat the fruit before they mature. And the reason we have so many squirrels in my vicinity is because we used to have a pecan tree, and never ate those either because they just weren't around. The squirrels would take care of it. So I don't hate them. I don't mind them either. If that makes any sense.
Are you generally pro squirrel though? Like if you see them in a tree, does it make you happy? If you see one run across the road, do you slow down?
I won't slow down. If they're on the road, it's because they're suicidal, I think. That's the only reason they stand by the side of the road and wait for a car to approach before they dart in front of them. Evel Knievel style, I think, is what they are. They're daredevils. They only cross the street when a car is coming. So it's especially since they can go across the wires. They're down there for a reason. So there's no reason for me to slow down because I am part of their enjoyment of whatever it is they're doing. Or whatever.
I know my dogs love them. Like they just go ape shit like every time they see any sort of squirrel, and I think they kind of torment my little dogs in the backyard. They like to cross that wire as you're talking about, but they kind of hang out just over the yard just to rile up the dogs a little bit. But yeah, I was totally wrong. I just Googled it. I guess everything's different from area to area, but I guess the fox squirrel was the one that I was thinking of that's invasive here, and the rock squirrel is apparently the natural one. So I don't know. These fox ones are killing the rock ones, and
there you go.
Gotta say, rock on.
Rock on. It's hard to keep a garden with the squirrels around, and so it's really hard to harvest anything that's left over because they do tend to hang out a whole lot. So we switched to a flowery garden this year as opposed to a vegetable garden. And we're seeing a lot more butterflies. So there's hope.
That's
for that.
awesome.
I tried to talk my wife into putting out the kind of greenery that attracts lightning bugs. The only
That would
problem
be cool.
The only problem with that, though, is that the flowers and grass that they're attracted to also attract fleas and ticks.
Oh, that would suck.
So,
that really sucks. So I've only kind of seen lightning bugs like once when I was on vacation, but man, I'd love to kind of experience that more. But apparently, I was in tick country, so not good.
So I remember as a kid, we used to see these lightning bugs all over the place, and especially in the fall, or in the summer actually. we would see them at night, and they'd be lighting the streets and around the area. I had no idea that we were infested with fleas at that time.
Yeah,
That'd be outside.
they do have ticks here, but I don't think fleas are a thing. I've never heard of anyone's like dogs getting fleas or anything. So I guess that's one nice thing about my flyover desert spot. But
Mhm.
man, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
not a trade-off. I'd rather take vegetation. That'd be great.
yeah, we get we get honeybees and butterflies now, and 1 year, oh my goodness, the what do you call those migrating butterflies?
Monarchs? I don't know.
Yes, yes, we got them 1 year. They were on a tree
Nice.
for a day. They took respite in our tree, and the entire tree base. What do you call that?
Trunk,
The
shaft.
trunk. Yes, the trunk, not the shaft, but the trunk. The trunk was completely covered all the way around with monarch butterflies, and the leaves were. It looked like the tree had turned brown, but it was just the monarch butterflies that had stopped for the
That's
night.
awesome.
And it was just it was a magical moment in our backyard, and I think that's what inspired us to continue going with the gardening and stuff. But
That's really cool. I haven't had that experience. They weren't monarchs, so they weren't like as pretty as that. But we had, I don't know what kind of butterflies they were, but some traveling one that was just, oh, it was gorgeous. This like gully behind this house that I grew up in, just 1 year for like, I don't know, a week. It seemed like it was just full of them. Oh, that was magical, man. That's awesome that you experienced that in your backyard and with the much prettier butterfly.
yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good times. I'm not sure where I have the pictures, but I have them somewhere. Uh, um, yeah. So there's that. Did you ever
Okay,
go
we've
out?
covered chipmunks, squirrels, butterflies.
All in the past 10 minutes.
What's your thoughts on grasshoppers?
Grasshoppers. Not a big fan. Not a big fan.
Yeah.
Of them. As a push mower guy in the early '80s, um, cutting down people's grasses for money. The high grass would always have the grasshoppers, and they would jump all over you and try to
Hmm.
get away from the blades. And um, if you try to swipe them away too quickly, they'll leave a leg behind.
Ugh.
Do we have black widows?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Usually we call them gold diggers.
You know, in inheritance fortunate individuals, I think is what we call them.
Yes.
Yeah, I almost bought this house, and literally as I went to the basement, I just opened the door, and there was like this on this giant web was just like 10 different black widows. I thought they were supposed to be like solitary, but man, it scared the crap out of me. I think that's the reason why I didn't end up buying that house, but perhaps the price was part of it as well. But just, man, that freaked me out. That like just right there,
You
so
could have
many.
paid a higher price had you bought it. So
It's true.
it was a smart move.
I could have
You know,
become a black widow farmer. It would have been great. Perhaps an entire different career.
you walked in on a convention that hopefully did not pan out, in the middle of a conference.
But those things freak me out.
At which point, one of them said, "This right here, see that man? That's what I'm talking about." What are your thoughts on Dobermans? Did you know I have a 15-week-old puppy that is adorable and makes everyone smile when they see her? Yes,
She
we
is gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen her results, but if you need
I've
to
not
smile,
seen her, but
you should try and take a look. It is one of those chocolate Dobermans. I actually haven't seen one quite like that before. Just the most amazing, adorable brown colors. Just, oh,
I love
your
the idea
Doberman
of
is
a Doberman.
gorgeous.
I've never seen one in action, but I love the idea of a Doberman. When I was younger, they had these series of movies called about I think they were named the Doberman Gang and the Doberman Gang Strikes Again. These were kid movies where these somebody trained these dogs, these Dobermans, to rob banks, and nobody could catch them because they were dogs for some reason. And Yeah, yeah. I think that's where I first saw them, and I fell in love with the idea of a Doberman. But never seen one in real life, IRL, if you will. Never done that.
Oh, they're gorgeous. Especially his amazing baby one. I was trying to look through on Twitter really quick because I swear he had this amazing post, but now I'm not seeing it. I'm sucking at it. But he also has a very awesome name for her, and I can't remember that either.
Oh,
But
Lucifer, maybe you can tell us what the name of your dog is.
do yourself a favor. Look at her if you get a chance. She is gorgeous.
Do we follow each other, Lucifer, on the Twitter? I don't know if we do or not. Doberman. There you are. I will follow. I have followed you. Now I will look,
Nice.
scrolling through your media, and oh, is that with the floppy ears? Because they haven't been cut yet. Is that the Doberman or no?
Yes, she does have floppy ears currently. Or at least the picture that I just looked at from October.
Oh, the one from October 31st with the Verb magazine in the background?
I believe that's the one. Sorry, I just scrolled past it. But she is gorgeous.
She looks pretty content. Looks pretty content to be there with mom, I'm assuming.
I'm not quite sure. But that's right. She is named after the Queen of the Gods, Hera. I was going to say Hela, and I was like, no, that's the MCU thing. There's a different name for her, but Hera. That's awesome.
And yes, Queen of the Gods, Hera.
That's awesome, Lucifer. I don't know. People like to do that. Same thing. Like I always think it's weird when the tail gets snipped on some of those dogs. It's like, why?
Yes,
But
they the ears and tails is what they usually snip on the Dobermans. I don't know why they do that. Maybe aesthetics because they can't groom it out of them or breed it out of them. But yes, definitely. If you don't wanna, don't do it. For God's sake, don't let anybody intimidate you into doing something that you feel your animal will regret for the rest of its life. No, um, I'm
so
not
the other
about
dog is not her mother. It just happens to be her, older sibling, housemate, roommate, whatever you want to call
Lucifer is not her mom. Okay, well that's good to know. We never want to associate with Lucifer's child, unless it's the dog is just named Lucifer and that's it. My family have been raising Dobermans for over 50 years. Woo! Good for
it. That is
you.
awesome.
Did
I
they
don't
ever
think my
cut the
family's been
ears?
doing anything for 50 years. I don't know. That's really cool.
No. Oh, it's her big sister. Lucifer's her big sister.
Hell yeah.
There you go. My goodness. Are they still making money off of that? Did they ever trim the ears and the tails and stop doing that for
I'm
positive reasons?
assuming they're making bank off of it if they're purebreds. Like, just purebred anything has gotten crazy expensive.
Yes. These animals are gorgeous. Let me just bring this down here real quick. Just to let everybody know. Look at that. Look at that.
So
Look at that.
cute. Yeah, the only ones I've seen in person are definitely the black ones. Just, man, that kind of chocolatiness is just so cute.
Look at that. And with the paw on the hand there, that's a sign of trust, I believe. I don't know if I'm for sure, but
That's
that's
awesome.
how I'm going to interpret it.
And those
I will
paws
do
are huge.
That's what makes it adorable. If you see it flopping around on the ground, just kind of bouncing up and down with excitement, and you got these big paws everywhere and ears and tails just going everywhere. Lovely, lovely dog. Lovely. Lucifer says you used to have to dock tails and crop ears if you wanted them to finish at dog shows. Oh, that's terrible.
For sure. I guess, the high price of beauty.
Yeah. I got a house full of cats. I don't know if you can tell.
I couldn't until just recently, but I think I just got a clue.
Yeah. What's the matter, baby? What's the matter,
You've
baby?
given too much attention to the dogs.
Yes, talking about
They're not
dogs.
digging that.
Her well-kept ears were burning. Yes. Baby was. We had a stray that adopted our house before, and she had two sets of litters in our vicinity that did not make it. And Baby was the first of hers to survive, and so we kept her in the house. And the other one was going back and forth, and she got pregnant for a fourth time, I think, and had three that wound up being two. And then we had the dogs next door decide to chew through the fence and came in and they ate one of her babies and her.
Oh,
And so we had
nature's cruel.
yes,
Animals are cruel.
Pumpkin, the baby sister of Baby, was all that was left, and so we kept them both in the house. But they wanted to adventure outside and kind of live 50-50, which it's fine. You know, the less they stay in the house, the less we have to pick up after them or feed them because they would eat squirrels or whatever. They would leave our chickens alone, but that was awesome.
Taking care of the invasive species. That is weird how those two topics combined.
So Baby went out and got pregnant, and then Pumpkin got stuck in the neighbor's tree and stayed in that tree for 7 days before we were able to get her down.
Oh, wow.
So now they're indoor cats, and they are indoor cats. So Baby had her kittens inside, so now we have too many cats in the house.
Oh, that is such a cute picture.
Isn't it, though?
That was the one that I was looking at, where they were just side
Yeah.
by side. Oh, such a cute dog.
Look at that. I want to get close up with that. Look at that. They are happy. They are very, very happy to be where they're at. And I can see their toys over there. They got a little bitty loveys over here hanging out, and nice little bed to lay in. Oh man, they got it made. They got it made.
I do. Ah, she has such cute giant paws. Wow.
Look at that. Biggins.
Some of her paws are almost the size of Lucifer's. I wonder how big she's going to get. Man, cute dogs.
Equal in size if they came from the same mother, I would assume.
Most likely. Yeah, you never know. A little bit of variation.
We got the cats now, and we're going to be giving the babies away to good homes. So
that is awesome.
We'll
I've always not necessarily that cats always getting pregnant. That's not the awesome part, but that you were actually chosen by an animal. I've always wanted that experience. I feel like I've seen it in I don't know how many Disney movies or whatever, but it's always me come on, come home with me. They never do.
We've got now a pretty safe half acre for cats. We had a dog for a while. I know he passed away a while back, but we had him for a long time. He was a rescue dog as well. Sounds like I'm cribbing off of Pops's cheat sheet, but no, we had a dog named Jeremy. That was his name, Jeremy, when we got him, and he was a bit of a biter, and so he was returned to the shelter twice before we got him and brought him to his forever home. And he loved the big yard and loved hanging out with the chickens. And he tolerated the cats when they came.
That's awesome.
The cats loved him. Oh, they would they would rub on him until he growled, and just they headbutted him and did everything they could to show his affection to being in his house. So let's see here. It says, just so you know, Lucifer is 105 pounds and one of the largest female Dobermans in North America. Okay.
That's what I was saying. They vary a little bit, but you're right. Same lineage, so probably similar size.
Similar size. I don't think she's going to get that big though. Then now that you put it in that context.
Yeah.
I need to have that sound somewhere. That's awesome though. That's great. one more look for those who came in after we started the conversation. Look at that.
So
Look
cute.
at that. Will not get as big, possibly, maybe smaller. There's always a runt of a litter somewhere. We have high hopes. High hopes for Hera. Is that right? Hera?
Yes.
Hera. Hera and Lucifer.
I mean, badass names.
Yes. Gorgeous, beautiful dogs. And I don't know. Are you training them to be attack dogs or anything like that? Anything? I know they can be guard dogs, I think.
I was gonna say, I think they've got like a certain protection kind of in them, but from everything I've seen, they don't seem like they're attack dogs. They seem like they're quite well adjusted. They're definitely part of his family.
Our neighbor has a sign on their fence that leads to the backyard, which butts up right up against my fist, and their sign says, "Beware of the dog." And I put up a sign that was custom made that says, "Beware of the other dog." So good for you. Good for you. I don't like putting animals in danger. I wouldn't expect my dogs to protect this house. That's why I have a gun.
Mine are going to try, but I expect them to do nothing. Just, anyone makes any noise outside, they have to bark about it. Mine are very not well behaved. So I'm very jealous of what I see with Lucifer and his dogs.
Yes.
It seems like he has a way with training them that I suck at.
Well, that's
But
awesome.
mine will try to protect the house. I just don't think they'll do anything. Maybe the guy's ankles or something will be a little bit worse for wear.
We had a dog next door, previous family. Her name was Angel, and she was a mix between a pit bull and a Rottweiler. So I knew at any given time, even though she was very, very lovey and a love bug, that at any given time she could rip off somebody's arm, because you don't know what's going to trigger an animal if they've had some bad experiences. So, but Angel was an angel, and she was big and burly and gruff, but just would come right up to you, and the first thing she would do is show her belly. So there was not an intention up here to do anything other than submit. So, and I believe that's I could be wrong, Lucifer, you tell me if I'm wrong, but showing your belly shows submission and a willingness to be around somebody and to give them, submit to them. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know everything about dogs, but, she would just come right up, show her belly, and get a little belly rub and be happy. She accidentally killed one of our dogs because the dog dug its way over there to play with her, and she played with it. But when she did that and the dog died, she stayed with it. She would not leave it behind. And so when we went to go get it, she stood there the whole time just with a horrified look in her face because she was just playing, you know. They were playing together. They used to run up and down the fence, and have a good time with each other. Before we got the wood fence, it was chain link, and they would just run up and down and have fun with each other. So when my dog finally made it over there, they played, and as big a dog as she played a little too rough. I don't blame her for it. I don't have any animosity against her or anything, but that was enough for them to take the dog to live somewhere else. At least that's what they told me.
Oof.
So, good thoughts for Angel wherever she is.
For sure.
Things happen, and it's not anybody's particular fault. I don't believe it's my fault that my dog dug a hole over to there. They seem to be friendly to each other. She did not treat the dog like a chew toy. There really were not a whole lot of marks on the dog to show that it was an attack.
Yeah. Well, even wrestling, like it can be, I don't know. My dogs are small dogs, but
yes,
I'm kind of worried about their necks sometimes when they're kind of putting full body weight into like the wrestling.
Yeah, and I think something like that is what happened. They were just wrestling around and having a good time, and just one paw down and one good tug, and
Mm-hmm.
that was it. And then when she stopped playing and she stopped living, uh, Angel stopped playing and stayed with her because they were friends, and it's not something I would not wish that on anybody else's dog either, to accidentally kill somebody
No.
that you had a relationship with, even if it was on the other side of the fence, So, but no, I don't know what brought us onto that. Oh, I was talking about
It's Morbid Sunday.
Morbid Sunday.
Elections are coming up. Memories like that are going to be coming up.
Yes, but my last dog died of old age, so there's that.
That is awesome. That's also rough. I don't know what I want. I guess hopefully we can just go by a volcano at the same time or something. I don't know what I want for me and my dogs, but the old age thing is tough too. Been through that a couple times.
I was holding him when he passed, so I got to be there
That's awesome.
for him while he took his last breaths, and we had the boys come and say goodbye to him that day because we knew it was coming. Didn't know it was going to be right there and then, but we wanted to be there for him when it happened. We chose not to go the route of euthanizing him. No sterile environment and a cold metal table. He needed to be in his home with his forever family, I thought. So that's what we did. And I held him.
That makes sense. I've kind of had both of those experiences. Sadly, I wasn't able to be there like right at the moment. That's awesome. I have had that experience with a pet, but yeah, sadly, well, I guess the one where we did have to put him down. I was there at the moment, but that's not quite the same. It's it doesn't feel like it's peacefully. Where hopefully you get to experience that.
He went to sleep, and just at some point while he was napping, it was just kind of like a slow ramp down, if you will, of the breathing. So I think he was content. He knew what was going to happen, and I think it was good to be there with him, because once I picked him up and held him, he just like, okay, I'm going to get comfortable, and that was that. So, but yeah, there was that. My Staffy passed away in its sleep. I almost misread that as staff. I was like, good Lord, what are you doing to your people? But no, what is a Staffy? I don't know what a Staffy is. Is that a dog? That's not a dog, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the. Now I'm forgetting. It's like the Stafford. No, I'm blanking. I know the dog. Sorry, Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Ooh.
I always screw up anything with the like shire on the end of it. I feel like I always screw those words up. But Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So it's a bull, man. They're so cute.
Well,
they've got like kind of the giant head.
Particular dog, or that color dog, or that size dog, but I'm sure he was that happy. Living with Lucifer and the other Dobermans and being in that area. You seem to have a way with animals that bring them joy and contentment. So I'm glad he was able to pass away in his sleep. I'm, sad that it was, and I'm sure it was some sort of cancer or disease or something, or maybe just old age, but
hopefully just old age. But yeah, Staffies are super cute. We used to have a boxer when I was growing up it looked a lot like a Staffy, but man, they're just so cute.
Yes, Angel had the biggest head. Being half Rottweiler, half Pitbull, she just had the biggest maw that you would believe, and you knew that if it grabbed a hold of something like a shark, it would leave with it. Whatever its mouth thought. But yeah, she was white, and just beautiful, just a beautiful dog.
Oh, dogs are awesome.
Yes, they are awesome. Dogs are awesome. And maybe we should end on that. That dog's awesome. Yeah.
I think so.
Nice too. Yeah. One not so bad. An open topic Sunday. Next week I'll be more prepared. We'll have a few topics. We'll talk about the week's events. We'll wish Charles safe travels wherever he goes. I know he's
Indeed.
busy. Indeed, getting things ready. Oh, boxers are silly and ridiculous.
It's true. No, that dude was awesome. Boomer was his name. He was a boomer. He was great. Very derpy.
Yeah, that actually makes me laugh. Just that sentence. Boxers are silly and ridiculous. I need to put that on a t-shirt or a pair of boxers.
They are. Just don't wear that shirt when you're walking up to like Mike Tyson or whatever. But you know,
No, you know what? I'll have that printed on a pair of boxers. That way,
ah,
on the very back, boxers are silly and ridiculous. You know, if you want to feel commando but still be clothed, boxers are the way to go.
agreed. I mean, the next best thing is a kilt, but you know, no boxers required.
No boxers required for a kilt. There you go, man. You just fly your freak flag with a kilt. Sit down and show people what you're made of. I guess that
It's an intimidation factor.
intimidation factor. That's it. Yeah. On that note, thanks for being here, Gray. Where can we find you this week?
Yeah, a little bit later tonight, we happen to be doing show business over on Charles's channel. So YouTube at Willis Scredia. It's you know, a little bit further, more in depth than we were able to go here, but it's usually on Mondays, but sometimes it's other days, and for the last 3 weeks it's been Sundays. So yeah, go on over to Charles's channel, YouTube at Willis Scredia. Check it out. He's going to go into the business of show. He's going to go through some of the numbers for the box office this weekend. There's been a few upsets. I don't think Here, which is that Tom Hanks one that you were talking about, I don't think that made it to the top 3, but we just have the estimates as of right now. So I know Charles will be able to clear that up a little bit later. But yeah, also going through like news, rumors, you know, and his legendary over-under game where we kind of guess each week if a certain movie is going to come in over or under estimates, and I'm usually wrong. So if you want to watch me be wrong, go over to Charles's channel later. Just ring the bell. You'll know exactly when it's at. That's about all I got going on. Other than that, future videos sometimes.
I think I'll be showing up this evening as well. I think
Oh,
I've
yeah.
applied for that. So you know, I'll be putting in what I know, which is not too much, but I'll bring it to the table. You know. And you know, I think number it's well within the top 10. So it didn't. Not sure if it made the top 5, but I think as of this morning when I took a look at the box office, it was in the top 10.
I think
So
that was the biggest one that was anticipated from last weekend. So
yeah.
I'm guessing they didn't hit the expectations, but we'll find out later.
Yeah, he wants a link, so you can do that for him. Yeah, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Gray wants a link. So there we are. I'll have to start putting links to that on this as well on the YouTube because I've got links to everything else. I might as well put it on here to Will's channel. So we'll do that. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking with us for as long as you have, for however amount of time that was. Glad to have you here. We'll see you next week. And oh yes, there's also a Think next week possibly.
Ooh.
On Kitty's channel.
That's true. Yeah, sorry. Every Thursday, it's the Thinkers. I don't know what we have planned. We kind of had the big spooky think planned, but yeah, every Thursday. If you haven't had enough of us, most of us appear over there from time to time. So go to YouTube at That Darn Kidda. See people from like 3 continents disagreeing about everything, but walking away somewhat amicably. Who knows what we could possibly be thinking about? It's not like there's, you know, this election thing going on in the U.S. or anything that would affect the world. So I got a feeling it might be something related to that, but we haven't actually discussed it. But come on over to That Darn Kidda's channel on Thursday and find out what we're going to think about.
Yes. Stay safe as riot season begins this week.
Ooh, it's just starting to warm up.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, everybody you know is going to be talking and they're going to be saying things. And what you need to do is forgive them and not put them out of your lives. Everybody's important and their opinions matter. If only to them, their opinions matter. And so let them keep their opinions, whichever way they go, and be peaceful to one another as we enter this final showdown, final countdown. And if praying is something you do, that's a good time. If that's what you do, then I definitely do that. If meditating is what you do, now's a good time.
Probably couldn't hurt.
Yeah, couldn't hurt. Yeah, what's it gonna do? It's if you're praying for war, shut the hell up. Yeah. Other than that, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next week.
In your eyes 風がそっとささやきつけて君と過ごす未来描くよどんな困難さえ乗り越えてそばにいたいから決して終わ